keys to the race. You heard Jeff Hammond talk about Mark Martin in practice. Control your emotions. Very important. Beware of Calamity Corner. 13 cautions last night. Over half of them was in turn 2. Got to beware of turn 2. And there you go. End of race pit strategy. What do I do in these final 50 laps? Do I get a caution?
For more information, including DW's hotspots, log on to foxsports.com. Keyword FedEx. All of our onboards as day turns to night.
I don't know that I've noticed Kyle driving with his glasses on before. That's a little bit different, I think.
It may be something to do with driving at nighttime.
Could be. Could have some kind of special glasses.
The final short track race of the first half of 2006. Be 4 months before these boys are back at a short track.
You talked about turn 2, Larry, and there's the tail of the tape. 7 of 13 caution flags last night. I think 2 were for debris. So that's the spot.
It's just an odd corner, DW. You're carrying so much speed and almost turns too quick over there.
Yeah, you just got to get right down to the bottom, and if for somebody there, you're going to get into them.
29th consecutive sellout at Richmond. Over 100,000 fans, every ticket sold, every seat taken. And if last night's Busch race won by Kevin Harvick over Jeff Burton was any indication, this will be a great one too.
Well, DW, it's Saturday night, and we love Saturday night parties. Let's get this party started. Reach up there and pull those belts tight one more time, baby.
Right. Here we go. Boogity, boogity, boogity.
Let's go racing, boys. Greg Biffle in the 16 car, he has led more miles than any other driver this year. He'll lead lap 1. He'll get those 5 bonus points for lead.
Vickers 25 outside. And right behind him, last year's winner Casey Kane battling Jimmy Johnson.
Now, if you were with us in our Phoenix race, very reminiscent of what we saw at Phoenix. Mark Martin had a really fast car, got out front, led a lot of the race. And Biffle also had a fast car. Both those cars ran out of gas, and guess what just happened?
Greg Biffle let Mark Martin lead that lap to get those 5 points right there. Teamwork.
Co-opetition. Cooperation.
Yeah, well, in this case, that's cooperation. They're all just, they're working together as teammates.
I think Kevin Harvick in the 29, who won the Phoenix race, he's faster than Casey Kane in the 9, Jimmy Johnson in the 48, but he was boxed in behind those guys.
Yeah, Casey and I did our drive around, and Casey wasn't all that excited about his car for tonight.
Jeff Hammond.
Guys, I just want to remind you of one other thing, too. We're looking at Mark Martin being smart here at Richmond. A few years ago, Mike Joel, he won one of the more dramatic IROC races here, I think, ever run at this racetrack, beating, Kurt Busch at the time and a couple green, white checker run at the end. So he's a very smart driver and doesn't mind giving and taking. So seeing this out of these 2 guys, it doesn't really surprise me.
Well, Jeff, we talked at the top of the show about this being a double-wide racetrack. It can be a 3-wide racetrack if you're very, very careful. Watch Dave Blaney on the inside, Joe Nemechek in the middle, and Tony Stewart trying to pass on the outside, going off into 3.
Now, you can get 3 wide down the straightaway. Something's got to give. Look at Tony locking up that left front. Did you see that, Larry?
Yeah, I mean, he entered the corner so hard, but he knew he had to try to clear those guys on the outside.
You can get 3 wide easily down the front, but, man, you got to get at least 2 wide when you get to the corner. Just not enough room for 3 cars in the middle of the corner here. Safely. You can do it, but not safely.
This is a battle for 5th right here. Kevin Harvick in that 29 car, our points leader Jimmy Johnson in the 48. Harvick's car, just like at Phoenix, right on the bottom of that racetrack.
Back straightaway, a spin, and it's the 49, driven this week by Mike Wallace.
Basically coming off turn 2 over there, Larry.
Number 1.
Didn't hit anything. I don't know if he got any help or not, but he was fortunate not to hit anything.
Lap 7, the Firedex Dodge brings out the first caution of the night.
With only 7 laps under our belt, you'll see most of the leaders stay out. But remember, this was an impound race, so we'll see some of the guys probably at the back come in and make some adjustments.
All by himself, Mike Wallace is around. And we're under the first caution of the night in Richmond.
What do you want with your Pizza Hut pizza?
Wings.
Cinnamon sticks. Breadsticks. Hello?
Wings.
No, cinnamon sticks. Red sticks. Cinnamon sticks.
How about wings?
Cinnamon sticks. Cinnamon sticks. Breadsticks.
Wings.
Guys! Let's get them all.
That's right. Just get them the new side sampler from Pizza Hut. Get 5 wings with ranch sauce and order breadsticks with marinara.
Beat these guys. I got a slide the nose like I did in practice. And I think it's because it rolls so much. I don't know why. I just feel like when it rolls on it right in front, the left front don't work. It does have a feeling like it rolls in. It rolls into the corner on the entrance, over on the right rear. You know, like we still got that track bar up. And that makes it, I don't know, it just makes me feel like the right rear could be pushing the left front of the ground a little bit better job than it's doing for the center. All right.
With all things racing in just
Okay, we'll be coming to the green, passing right only.
Until he got in and made those adjustments. Sure, he didn't intend to spin out so he could get in, but maybe he'll be better now.
Yeah, his first race was to get in. Now, this is a 3/4 mile track, but it still acts like a short track. Greg Biffle takes the green flag. The back of the field, Dale Jarrett was just halfway down the backstretch on this restart.
Kurt Busch looking under Matt Kenseth. That's for 9th place.
I thought it was pretty interesting talking to Chad Knaus, where he said, we just want to take it easy until the sun goes down and it gets dark, and then we'll work on the car.
Big picture racing.
Yeah, you know, let's see what we got once the track gets like it's going to be long, you know, in the longer part of the race.
But Darrell, you were talking about that right there earlier in the race with Kevin Harvick in the 29, Jimmy Johnson in the 48. Harvick has been right on the bottom. Jimmy Johnson, the 48, had the bottom. Harvick says, fine, I'll go to the top.
That's what drivers love about this place.
Just in front of Harvick, Brian Vickers in the 25. Steve is in his pit.
And Mike, just want to follow up on what DW said when the caution came out. Brian Vickers told his crew chief Lance McGrew, he said, I'm loose all the way through the corner. Lance said 10-4. That's going to be good for us when the sun goes down as this racetrack changes.
And the biggest thing that will change, it will gain grip. The tires will grip better. And the thing will pick up kind of a front end push. When he turn the wheel, the front ends just slide. I've been watching this 20 car here, Tony Stewart. Now, he started back about mid-pack, back in 18th. He's only worked his way up to 16th, but when he really was aggressive was on the restart. He just drove by Carl Edwards in the 99.
Yeah, I think he's just kind of hanging behind Jeff right there right now, just working along, not in any hurry.
Well, Ryan Newman in the 12, he way up the racetrack. Seemed like he cannot keep his car on the bottom at all.
It just seems like some of these guys like Tony Stewart and then Jimmy Johnson, they have learned to pace themselves. You don't have to do it all at once. And that's what I've been seeing in Tony this year a lot.
Let's go to Stewart's pit. Here's Matt.
DW, you're exactly right. On the right of your screen, you see the orange 20 of Tony Stewart. Now, he is just riding, as he said on the radio, because the car is bad, loose on exit, needs help with forward bite. Didn't want to pit to give up track position as he works underneath the 12 of Newman. He says, oh, this car is going to be a rocket later in the race just because of how this race car is handling so early.
And that's the impound race. You got a couple things going on here. It's an impound race, so you can't work on the car after qualifying. And now we've got changing conditions starting off here in the late afternoon and running into the evening. And so you've got to have a lot of things going on to be sure you're good at the end of the day, or the end of the night here.
Well, I hear a train a-coming, and it's black and silver. Harvick just blasted past Casey Mears to take over the 3rd spot. Whoa, around goes the 4. Scott Wimmer in the fence, going into turn 3, and that'll put us under caution for the 2nd time.
Another one of those cars that had to get on time. Was awfully good in practice yesterday, but a pretty hard lick on the left rear of that car.
Car's torn up big time.
Aero exhaust Chevy headed for the garage. And there he is inside Jeremy Mayfield and gets up into Mayfield.
Yeah, he just squeezed up in front of Jeremy. I mean, Jeremy had nowhere to go.
Yellow fever early here in Virginia.
For talking, bud. I just wonder if there's anything we can do to help it off without hurting the middle. Yeah, I'm not sure about that left yet. Let's just do that left side air. Get it freed up in the middle some. That might help you with your off. Of course. All right. '66 will be in their box when we pit. Yeah, we're going to take 4 tires here. 4 tires. Pit this time. 4,700 seconds. All the leaders stayed out, Bob. 4, we want to pit here. Coming to you.
So
2, 1, stop on the sign. Clear out, clear out, clear out. 4,700, 4,700. Safety truck up high there in 3, coming back to 1 to go. All right, coming to the green.
100poconos.com.
Getting ready to go back to green, Greg Biffle leading, Mark Martin and Kevin Harvick. 12 cars made pit stops under that caution, including Dale Earnhardt Jr., Reed Sorensen, Sterling Marlin, Jamie McMurray, Bobby Labonte, and J.J. Yalen.
And what those 12 cars would love to see is maybe about a 10-15 lap run here, knowing that the guys up front then would pit and they'd get all that track position back.
Scott Wimmer is back in the race, 3 laps down, and Derek Cope came out of the garage and returns to the race 15 laps back.
I swear if I could close my eyes and if it was a little bit different, I think I was at Phoenix. watching these same cars running about the same kind of race they ran at Phoenix, and Harvick won both races at Phoenix. And I swear the way that car's handling right now, it's going to take something to stop him, boys, because he is. Look at him.
And Mark Martin in the 6th realized how much quicker Kevin Harvick was than him, just kind of moved over and let that 29 go. Dick Bourbon, that 29 is on a rail right now.
Yeah, it may be on a rail, but they can still adjust more speed into that thing, Darrell. Harvick got on the radio just a few moments ago when the caution flag flew and said that the car is tight in the center and off. But, you know, he has got to be going on momentum. He's got 4 Busch Series races in a row where he has finished either first or second. He's been so fast here, won here last night in the Busch Series, and he has got to be on top of the world. And he's got a car that's really on top of the world as well. Could be better.
Kurt Busch. Moving on, Casey Kane. This is for 9th place.
That's the 2 winners from last year. Casey Kane won a year ago. Kurt Busch won the race here in the fall.
Well, I'll tell you right now, Harvick's got 22 gallons of gas in the trunk, but he's got 100 gallons of momentum on his side. Holy cow. Look at these guys racing all over the place.
Now, Denny Hamlin in the 11, racing hurt. An off-track incident put 19 stitches in his right hand. But he raced last night in the Busch race, and he's battling hard here at his home track tonight. Matt.
Mike, he finished 10th last night in the Busch Series race. Told me when he got back to his motor coach, he spent last night and much of this morning icing down that hand. He is going to change up normally how he drives behind the wheel. Usually he's a tugger on his left hand on the wheel. Now he's going to have to go to what Mark Martin calls the Arkansas grip, using more of your arm and elbow, forcing that wheel when you go into that corner and turn. That's exactly what Mark does. Because, yep, and I talked to Mark, and I'm going to have to do that tonight.
Yeah, what he's talking about is you put that wheel, you take your right hand, plant it on the steering wheel, and look, see it got it laying on the center of the steering wheel right there. And when you come over the top with that right hand, you're holding yourself with your elbow and your arm against the steering wheel, just like you see Tony Raines doing right there in the old DLP car.
And what they're talking about, Denny Hamlin, he was injured at Lowe's Motor Speedway at a test on Wednesday night, not in a race car. They were doing foot races around the tractor and trailer. He grabbed something to make a corner and sliced his hand. You can see it right there. It's his left hand.
19 stitches, Larry. I mean, he ripped that baby open.
Now, right behind Hamlin, Matt Kenseth, who came into Talladega as the point leader and lost the point lead to Jimmy Johnson. Let's go to Kenseth's pit.
Mike, right before the race, I spoke to Matt Kenseth and asked him how good his race car was. He's already moved up several positions early in this race. He said, I'm not sure. I think we have a top 10 car. No, I think we have a top 5 car. You know what? I think we can win tonight.
But you know, guys, as I watched Denny Hamlin in that 11 car, 1 year ago, he was running the Busch Series here on Friday night. 2 years ago, he was sitting in turn 4 about row 13 as a fan watching this race. And here he is racing in it tonight.
And I believe I heard him say he bet someone that one day he'd be out there doing that.
Bet one.
Let's update some of the drivers that made stops on that caution. Dale Earnhardt Jr. now 21st, passing the Valvoline Dodge of Scott Riggs. Reed Sorensen up to 26th, Sterling Marlin 27th, Yaley 30th, and McMurray 31st.
I think it's pretty smart, Larry, for Dale Jr. Wasn't happy with the car. Get in early, get it fixed. We got a long way to go, and he's coming right back through the field.
And Darrell, it never fails at the beginning of this race. We'll have 1 or 2 or 3 quick cautions, then we get into some long green runs, and that's, I'm sure, what a lot of those guys were betting on. We'll get into a long run here.
Hardy's past Clint Boyer, sets off after Nemechek. Matt, what do they need to do on that stop?
It was a combo platter, really, of strategy. Now, they pitted, like Darrell said, to try to fix the race car now, but they thought more teams would hit pit road so it would help out with track position. It didn't. Working now inside the top 20 of the car, both tight and loose. The biggest issue, though, up off the corner like a lot of other guys, just no forward bite.
And what that means, when he puts the throttle down, he can't just nail it because it wants to spin the rear tires as he drives up on the straightaway.
Greg Biffle's lead is shrinking. The object getting larger in his mirror is Kevin Harvick.
And these two guys, they have been moving their car around a lot. I've been watching them. Last couple of laps, actually the top 3 include Mark Martin. They were about a groove off the bottom. That time, Kevin Harvick through 1 and 2, right back down on the bottom.
And he and Biffle within 0.02 of a second on the stopwatch that lap. Mark Martin was a little bit slower by about 6/100ths. And in fourth, Casey Mears, ahead of Brian Vickers.
I think the best thing that happened to Brian Vickers was last week at Talladega. You know, he got a lot of weight off his back last week, and I think it really helped his confidence. I could see a whole different attitude this week coming into Richmond.
And pretty impressed with Casey Mears in that 42 car. And we got Casey Kane in the 9 slowing on the backstretch going through turn 3 and 4.
You know, he had brake issues in practice, and that's got brake issue written all over it, Matt.
DW, he just came on the radio. Kenny Francis and Mike Shiblet, the car chief, just asked him, you have a tire going down? He says, no, I think we've lost a cylinder. It sounds and feels like I'm on 7 cylinders. Tough break for this young man, trying to make it 2 wins in a row here this spring race in Richmond.
And I tell you, this year, the Evernham engines, those things are handling down the straightaway, but they have had their share of issues this year.
40 laps, Greg Biffle leads. He has led 7 of 9 races, now 8 of 10 this year. He's led the most laps in 3 races, but he's still looking for his first top 5.
It takes preparation. Fender, the 10 inside by a fender. You're pulling him. Clear, all clear. Inside by a fender. Clear. All clear. Back inside. Clear. All clear. Back inside, inside. Still inside. Still there, still inside. Still inside. Clear. You're clear about 5 car lengths, Dale Jr. outside. Outside, outside. Clear high behind the 12. Clear. A lap car, 3 cars in front of you. He's giving people the bottom lane, looks like, Junior. Clear. Clear. Still clear, June. Clear by 2 car lengths. It's good off. It kind of spins up off a little bit. It's still tight in the center, Junior. All right, 10-4. Nice. So over the roof to it. Clear.
Let's see if we can get a replay here.
Jamie McMurray.
Oh, there you go, man. I looked up, I saw him. I said he was going to wreck.
I think he probably said the same.
Did we have that good hands thing yet?
There's a prime candidate for it.
Mark that one down.
We're going to have a lot of candidates for that one tonight. Nice save.
It was.
That was a crown-worthy moment right there.
Man, that thing just jumped out from under him.
And he was coming off Calamity Corner, turn 2.
Great save, baby. Great save.
Look at that.
Riding with Tony Raines, he had no idea what to do right there. He didn't know where that car was going to end up.
That's a pretty good job of hanging on to that thing, no question. I see Casey Kane going down pit road. They probably pulled a rocker arm off to see if they could maybe keep that thing going for a while.
He is 5 laps down as he re-enters the race.
So Abraham's off to not a too good a start. Jeremy Mayfield gets wrecked early. Now here's Casey with engine trouble. So Ray's not going to have a very good night tonight.
No, and Scott Riggs running 25th. So all 3 Evernham cars in the lower half of the field.
Now, Kevin Harvick, our leader, we were talking about he was about to catch a lot of cars at the back of the field, and normally that brings all the other cars up to him, but he actually picked up ground when he caught lap cars.
You know what? I'm not so sure they didn't fix that 9 car. Maybe he's just running on, no, he looks like he's on 7 cylinders, but he sure can go down into the turns and through the turn well. Look at him on Harvick.
He looks better than he did a while ago, that's for sure.
So Harvick the leader by 1.6 seconds. Biffle, Mark Martin, Matt Kenseth, 3 Roush cars, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. And then Jeff Gordon in 5th. Here's Steve.
Mike Gordon started 16th, and as you said, he's moved up 11 positions, but he wants some adjustments to that Chevrolet. He says he's better in 1 and 2 than he is in 3 and 4. He's tight getting in.
Front straightaway, Steve.
And we've got troubles on the straightaway.
Front stretch, down the front stretch.
And Tony Raines is right in the midst of it. DLP Chevrolet. He got in the, I believe he got in the corner of somebody. And there was a second car involved. So third caution of the night comes at lap 66.
Oh, by the way, another reason these guys like this racetrack, you can spin out and not hit anything.
Yeah, especially here on the front stretch.
Ought to look good on the big screen.
I don't see a lot of damage. There's J.J. Yaley alongside.
Just almost what happened. It's almost the same thing. Man, he mad at that thing, Larry. Here hitting the rev limiter. It's almost what happened to Jamie McMurray on the back straightaway. Just sounded like the rear tires broke loose.
Yeah, he was definitely into that rev limiter, trying to keep it off the wall.
So a lot of cars scattered, but nobody else involved in Tony Raines' spin.
That's in it. The 26 and he both had the same issue. Rear tires just bust loose and the thing spins out.
Now, a lot of our cars at the front, like Kevin Harvick, Greg Biffle, Mark Martin, Kenseth, and Gordon, they have not been to pit road yet here at lap 66. They will all be on the pit road, and I've got to believe even those cars like Dale Earnhardt Jr., it's been 40-something laps since they pitted. I think you're going to see all the league lap cars on pit road, 4 tires and adjustments.
Oh, yeah.
Feeding time.
Yeah, baby.
Free pass car will be Michael Waltrip.
Yeah, he just gotten lapped.
Dick Bergman.
Well, Kevin Harvick has the very first pit on pit road. He is going to stop toward the back end of that pit to be sure that he doesn't get trapped in. Once again, the car is tight in the center, a little bit tight off as well. They're going to try to adjust that with air pressure. Steve.
Dick, Matt Kenseth said his car is good getting in, good in the center. You see him in the lower left-hand corner of your screen. Right next to him, Jeff Gordon. He is, as I said, tight in the entry, tight in the center, loose on exit. Matt.
Top left, Greg Biffle, the pole sitter tonight. You can already see the crew member with the wedge wrench. They've already made a chassis adjustment. Biffle says they are in a great position. The car is still a little too tight in the center and free on exit. He is down and away, will win the battle off pit road, but he says even after they lost the lead on lap 49, we are in great shape tonight, boys.
Larry, what's significant is everyone who pitted up at the turn 4 end of pit road got out first.
Yeah, and I mean, they almost had the problem. They were finished for their pit stop before all the cars were in, but the killer bees, Matt Kenseth's group, Robbie Reiser, picked up 2 positions. There you see that's the best times on pit road, including the stop, Greg Biffle and Matt Kenseth. Mark Martin being one of the cars that lost some positions.
That completes our first Craftsman pit stop of the night. We're under caution flag number 3 for Tony Raines' spin.
Find out anything yet? Their tower is checking right now. We are coming to the 1 to go. 1 to go. Be the 7th in the 45 car. 7 first. That's all I need to know. All I need to know. Lampers coming to your inside.
We should have never let the guys pick the gifts.
Get to it and other exclusive NASCAR content at AOL and NASCAR.com.
We gotta be more efficient.
It dwarfs a helicopter. Only the vast expanse of Mount St. Helens crater could make this giant piece of hardened lava the size of a football field.
Clear low, clear low.
And in our Craftsman pit summary, got the same top 5, just jumbled them up a bit.
But you know what? Back to Casey Kane. If you've got a good race car, you can make laps up here. We watched Robbie Gordon a couple of years ago make up 3 laps when the caution would come out early in the race. So he definitely could get back on the lead lap. But he's got work to do, especially with that 29 car up there, Kevin Harvick.
Yeah, and the other thing is, guys they don't take kindly to
Turn 2, Stewart gave the boot. They got all wound up in traffic, and Stewart got into the back of Clint Boyer. Not intentionally, but somebody checked up in front of the Prilosec car, and Boyer checked up, and Stewart was on it.
Nothing you can do.
That's what you want to hear. You get it back, nothing you can do. Settle in.
See how this got started.
Tony's coming down the corner here. I think that 61 car broke the momentum of Boyer's car just a tad. He had to check up for him. Tony just got a run, got a bump into the back of him.
They definitely started stacking up in front of Clint Boyer. Boyer got out of the throttle. Tony just barely gets into it.
Right, but I was going to talk about the 9 car. The guys, they won't cut you a lot of slack when you're 5 laps down. They think you ought to get out of their way. They don't care if you're trying to get them back or not. They don't care how fast you are. They just know you're 5 laps down. Get out of the way.
Tell you what, when we see this 24 car, Jeff Gordon running this good early in the race, Steve Burns, it could be a bad sign for the competition up there battling Biffle for the 3rd spot.
Yeah, Larry Mackin, Jeff Gordon's big concern. I said he was tight getting in, tight in the middle, but loose when he got on the throttle, early throttle as he called it. After the pit stop, these teams look at the tires. Crew Chief Steve Lontard told him we're wearing the left front and the right rear a lot, so be careful. Dick Burton.
Mark Martin came on the radio just a few moments ago. We've got a caution on the speedway.
And it is Jeff Green and Casey Mears. And I believe this was all in aftermath to a problem that Jeff Burton had coming off turn number 4. Darrell, it's that accordion effect. Something happens here, and by the time the rest of the pack reacts, big things happen back there.
Unlike Bristol and Martinsville, where you just can't help but run over the guy in front of you when something like that happens, and everybody gets involved. Here it's usually 1 or 2 cars.
But there's a prime example again here on the front stretch. A lot of room. 2 cars basically spin out with little to no damage to speak of.
See if we can see what happened here.
Well, this will be the spin here. Jeff Green, Jimmy Johnson.
There you go. It's the same thing. Whoa, Jimmy Johnson. Did he get damaged? Got a little lick there.
Tony Stewart just barely gets by in that 20
you know,
car.
Larry, that's the 3rd time now I've seen a car coming off the corner, just bust the rear tires loose, spin out.
Well up on the straightaway.
Yeah.
So, Matt, that really didn't involve what happened to Jeff Burton 100 yards further forward, did it?
But Burton came on the radio. You're right, Mike. But Burton came on the radio and said, I don't know. I just ran over somebody bad. This race car is all over the racetrack.
Yeah, he hit the gas in turn 4 and jumped sideways a whole lane and got it back, and things started to stack up.
There's somebody's brake rotor laying over on the back straightaway.
Steve?
Well, Mike, they don't know what's wrong with that 17 of Matt Kenseth. You see the guys looking at the rear, underneath the rear of the race car. They just said the oil tank is broken. Oil tank is broken. They're going to go behind the wall.
Well, that could have been where that piece of brake rotor went, Darrell.
There's a great big piece of brake rotor laying over. I saw that, and I think he must have run over it. There you go.
There it is.
Somebody's got no brakes, and it's caused Matt Kenseth to have no oil in his tank.
Now he came in here second in points, and this will be quite a blow. Larry, what are the chances of getting that fixed and getting him back out without losing a whole lot of time?
Well, I'm sure they are prepared. You know, race teams have preparation. Robbie Reiser, the crew chief, they have a game plan on almost every situation that could come your way. They probably have a spare oil tank. They'll have to take the lines loose, and I'm sure pretty quickly they'll get that thing changed.
I want to know who doesn't have a brake rotor. That's what I want to know.
Well, we'll see who comes in the pits and can't stop. Let's listen to Jeff Burton's on board here. The singular Chevy.
Something like he ran over something.
I just ran over something. Fine, your caution's out.
And he jumped sideways a whole lane when that happened.
He decided not to give up track position, sitting there in 10th. It's only been about 10 laps since all these cars pitted. We had about 7 or 8 cars that did pit, including Tony Stewart, Robbie Gordon, Casey Mears, and Jeff Green that was involved in the spin here on the front stretch.
Well, now, if you run a dual master cylinder system for the brakes, if you lose a piece of a brake rotor right there, will the car still stop on the other system?
No, the balance bar just will pivot so far that it'll stop you initially, but it'll eventually not stop you at all.
Okay.
Because you have a balance bar, one for each master cylinder. And when you lose one, it cocks itself sideways. You got no brakes.
82 laps complete in the Crown Royal.
I was so loose I couldn't do anything. Stay high of that streak of oil there. When you get down here to 1 and 2, there's going to be 2 trucks up high.
Now watch Matt Kenseth, who has a punctured oil tank, and Casey Kane right behind him. And there's the chunk of rotor after maybe it came off Kane's car, or after maybe it went through Kenseth's oil tank.
A lot like the glove at Fontana. We've not found where it came from, but trust me, we will find out where this piece of brake rotor came
We're still looking.
I know one thing, that's a smart man right there. he didn't try to pick it up with his bare hands.
Robbie Reiser's crew hard at work making repairs. Let's go down to our Ford Fusion cutaway car, Jeff Hammond.
Mike, we're talking about brakes. This place at Richmond is a lot like Martinsville. You've got to cool your brakes. Brakes can become an issue. These rotors we're talking about are extremely heavy and very, very solid steel. Even if you break half of it in two, it weighs a lot and is very dangerous. Again, this is the brake system they're running here tonight. Big scoop at the front, 3 hoses going in, all this carbon fiber, trying to cool this rotor, which sometimes will get in excess, almost 1,300 degrees. We saw the safety worker using a shovel to make sure he doesn't burn himself. But now what happened to the 17 car, at least we believe, is a piece of that brake rotor, or part of it, has broken off, flown up underneath the race car. Here's where the oil tank is located. A piece of that is punctured the bottom of this oil tank, which is exposed to the bottom side of the racetrack, which is in a fairly safe position, but a piece of brake rotor punches a hole inside this oil tank. Obviously, all of a sudden, the oiling system does not work. As you can take a look here, once they lose this, they've got to replace it as well as fill it up, Steve.
Jeff, we're looking at the replacement oil tank as we come away from the Ford Fusion cutaway car. Robbie Reiser, the crew chief, just said, let's drain all the oil out of the cracked oil pipe. Then we'll put the new oil tank on and refill it. That way the system will stay full. Matt Yoakum, 12 mechanics working on this race car.
The 9 of Casey Kane making his way to the pit box now. A lot of radio conversation back and forth about that brake rotor. They were telling Casey about what they saw from our video. Casey says, well, that explains, because I thought my left front ran through some oil because it sort of skipped on the racetrack, but he didn't want to take a chance on possibly having a tire cut down, so they were going to make their way down the pit road. You can see the work going on. Also, the 20 of Tony Stewart pitted. They made a number of adjustments, pulled 2 spring rubbers on one side, 1 spring rubber on the other. His race car definitely not up to his liking. And then he said, hey, any stories developing down there on pit road? Greg Cipodelli updated him on the 17's brake problems at Kenseth, and also the 9 of Kane with the plug wire. He says, well, it's pretty quiet in my area too. I'll see what I can do to kind of spark it up a little bit coming up here on the green.
Thanks, Matt. We're under the 4th caution flag of the night, and we've not yet completed 100 laps, Chris.
Yeah, we've been racing, Mike, for just about an hour. Greg Biffle, the pole sitter, has led the most laps at 54. Frank Beamer, head coach at Virginia Tech, the honorary starter. At BCS, the proud home of college football, Fox starting in January. Roush teammates Mark Martin and Biffle trying to work things a little bit early. But Kevin Harvick and Mark Martin have been the only other 2 leaders other than Biffle in this race. Problems here on lap 21. That's Scott Wimmer out in front. You see Jeremy Mayfield get squeezed, bringing out a caution flag. Wimmer was okay. Casey Kane, who won this race last year, roughed up in Talladega, having to make a pit stop and trying to rally. Lap 66 now. Tony Raines, Hall of Fame racing. A blurry scene here, bringing out another caution. And Matt Kenseth, second in points, second in this race, running until he had a bad brake or a bad brake rotor, as Jeff Hammond explained, bringing out the caution and problems for him. This has been a Visa Race Break. No matter what it takes, life takes Visa. Kevin Harvick, your leader.
We're coming to 1 to go. The lucky dog is on the outside lane in the middle of 3 and 4, coming your way. Got 5 cars back to you, outside. Lap down cars coming to the bottom. Okay, pace car is off.
Green flag, green flag. Got one coming to your inside, June. Inside. Clear low, clear low. Clear high, clear high. Crash in the middle of 3 and 4, June. Crash in the middle of 3 and 4.
Ran one lap, and caution is out for a huge fire and explosion under the hood of Kevin LePage.
I'm not sure, but there was a lot of fire in the right front of that thing. This could be it. The engine let go. We may have found the brake rotor problem. We may have found it. Happened right after this restart.
And this caution, Larry, like the length of the last one, is helping Matt Kenseth.
Yeah, because they're able to make these repairs under caution at 60 seconds a lap instead of 20 seconds a lap.
Yeah, and an oil tank is something that you don't just, they're in a very difficult place to get to, and it's not something you just replace like an oil filter.
This is a little scary here, Darrell.
Yeah, I think that's more than a brake. You see the right front's locking up. That's oil there. That's just an oil fire from getting on the hot engine. See him lock up the right front tire. He's got brakes, so I think that's just basically a blown engine.
It's caution flag number 5. So LePage will go to the garage, joining Matt Kenseth and Derek Cope. Kevin climbed out of the car okay. So Kevin Harvick continues to lead as the yellow flag continues to fly in the Crown Royal 400.
I wish that my car would cut a little bit better right before the center, like 10 feet before the dead center of the corner. And I'd be happy as hell. Talking just a tiny little bit more rotation right there. All right, get forward. Still over on the right. I wish it was flatter. But If I can get it to front attitude of the car, the plateau of the car to be better, that would be the only other thing. Just get it rotated a little bit right before the center. Otherwise, real good shape. Real sure, but I think just like in practice, the more cycles we put on these tires, you know, if we have a sticker set of tires and then cycle them 3 or 4 times in the first 20 laps with some cautions, we're way better.
You are watching the Crown Royal 400 from the Richmond International Raceway on NASCAR in-car. Only available on digital cable.
50 lap old tires or 40 lap old tires there.
Guy that's leading the points or is running second in points, he's in the garage. One of the other top 5 contenders, Casey Kane, he's having trouble. Let's go to a different mode. Let's go into point, make a good points night out of this.
Kane's teammate Jeremy Mayfield gets the free pass on this caution, and we'll get back up on the lead lap. That'll give us 38 cars on the lead lap. Kevin Harvick, Jeff Gordon, Mark Martin would each gain a spot in the points where they're sitting right now. Harvick would be 6th, just off this part of the chart. And look at the run Harvick has had. Every spot in the points better than the week before since Atlanta.
And what's significant about that 7th place after Talladega, remember, he was involved in that crash on lap 9. His crew, Todd Berry, the Richard Childress group, they never gave up on that race car, and by virtue of getting that car out there and staying on the racetrack, attrition taking some others out, they moved up a spot even with the troubles they had.
Yeah, she was ugly, but she kept on going.
Kevin LePage checked and released from the infield care center as we clean up from the 5th caution flag of the day. A lot of oil down in turns 3 and 4.
One to go. Lap cars coming on the bottom. Cars off. Green flag, green flag. Clear low. Clear.
Through the middle of the corner, which is what you want here.
Riding with Jeff Burton. This is a battle for ninth with Kyle Busch in the 5, but there's Dale Earnhardt Jr. He drove by Jeff Gordon right up to the rear bumper of Greg Biffle in the 16.
Ever since they made that early stop, Justin, on that race car, he's been slowly working his way to the point. Matting that baby right there. That's big stuff.
Watch how much brake, though, as he goes down into turn 1 here. Jeff Hammond was talking about the big brakes, how much brake. Own it for a long period of time.
What they try to do, though, is talking to Casey Kane today in our ride-around, brake on the straightaway, and then get off and let it roll through the middle, especially down here in 3 and 4.
But I like what I hear, Daryl, right about here. He doesn't ease into that throttle. He jumps on it.
Pretty much matting it right there, and that's what you need to be able to go fast.
He is closing in on Greg Biffle, Matt.
Junior just told his team on the radio, if they can get that car to cut a little better in the center of the corner to help him turn, he is really going to have a great car for tonight. Now, Biffle, his best friend at the moment is his spotter, Joel Edmonds. The reason? Biffle is having huge visibility issues. So much oil dry on the racetrack tonight, it has accumulated on his tear-offs. He said that's going to be the biggest adjustment they need to make. He felt like his car was better than Harvick's, but he just can't see well to hit his marks. So don't be surprised if the 8th Junior gets close to him, that he'll let Junior go.
Larry, I mean, every week it's something for that poor guy, you know? If it isn't an engine, a gas tank can run dry, can't see where he's going, man, he just needs a night with no problem.
Not one thing, it's another.
Kyle Busch in the Kellogg's car inside of Jeff Burton.
Yeah, about 3 laps ago, Jeff Burton had to really jump out of the throttle off turn 2. He lost the position back to Kyle Busch, fought back, but Kyle Busch's car is so good from the center off, especially coming off turn 4 into the front stretch. But you know, back to Dale Earnhardt Jr., that car is so good off the corner, like you pointed out, Mike. They've got to make sure they don't hurt that part, trying to make that thing turn better in the middle.
Yeah, tight in the middle will allow you to be really good off, because you got to turn left and you can mat it, and you don't have to wait on the back end.
Denny Hamlin working on Brian Vickers. Hamlin went to Manchester High School, about a dozen miles from this racetrack. Used to sit in the grandstands here, raced a late model here, wanted if he ever get the chance in a Cup car, and this is it. This is his first try in an Nextel Cup car at his home track. And he runs in 7th place. Now just ahead of him on the racetrack, Jeff Gordon. Back to Steve in Gordon's pit.
And Mike, Jeff Gordon has lost some positions. His car is turning real well, but when he picks up the throttle and then off the corner, he says his car has gotten extremely loose. from the minute he picks up throttle to the exit.
Well, that'll show up on the stopwatch. And Darrell, that's the kind of problem. That's not going to fix itself.
Oh, no. No. There's a number of guys right now that their cars, I think the track's going through that transition. It's gotten dark now. The track's cooled down a little bit. It's suiting some of these cars, but it's messing with some others.
Just went through a major transition, I think, as it got completely dark. Back to the Casey Kane deal just a few laps ago. He just drove by Kevin Harvick in that 29 car. He gets one of his 5 laps back.
Kurt Busch on the move. 4th place. 2.6 seconds off the lead, but ahead of Mark Martin right there.
Now, would it come as any great surprise to you to see that 2-car run well here?
Well, who used to drive that car?
I mean, we've seen it run awfully well here in the past, haven't we, Matty or Steve?
Right.
Well, DW, we have Rusty Wallace won 6 times in that blue number 2, and his spotter is also his best friend. He just told Kurt, don't overdrive the corners. You're getting in there pretty hard, Jeff Hammond.
Steve Burns got a chance to talk to Kurt Busch yesterday, and he talked about this racetrack and the upcoming tracks for this entire Penske operation to be able to turn this season around and start to climb up the ladder to get back into contention for the chase for the championship. Felt really good about this race car, as well as looking forward to next week and on into Lowe's Motor Speedway in 3 weeks. So right now is a crucial time for Kurt Busch to make a huge move forward.
He's in 4th place, and that's the highest he's been yet this evening.
Well, I know we want to give credit to the 2 car, but remember, Kurt Busch won the last time we raced here back in the fall of last year.
Here's a guy right here, Larry, that I've been keeping an eye on, and he is struggling right now. Jimmy Johnson, our point leader, he's at the back of the pack. Here comes Biffle or Harvick off turn 2 over there, and here he goes into turn 3. He's in danger of going a lap down here before long.
About the length of the backstretch from being lapped, and he's sitting right there after making that last pit stop back in 36th position. He's really went nowhere.
No, he can't. Tony Stewart was just ahead of him. Tony's gone off and left him, and he's out there. I don't know. Whether they did that car, he didn't like it.
Now you see Harvick, our leader, and in front of him, Casey Kane got one of his laps back by driving past Harvick. And since Kane was 5 laps down, Harvick just let him go. But Kane is back up to speed after losing a spark plug wire early in the race. And wisely, they went to the garage and repaired it instead of leaving him out there and doing further damage to the engine.
Well, had they known what it was, they may have, fixed it on pit road. But he thought the engine blew up, so they go to the garage, they see what it is, fix it, and he comes back out. So they probably cost himself a lap or 2. But good news is, he's going now.
Riding with Tony Raines, the DLP Chevrolet. Michael Waltrip just ahead.
Okay, stop the presses. We found where the brake rotor piece came from. Jeff Propst, one of our pit runners who's been back there with the 17 car, their right rear brake rotor broke, and that's the piece that went up through his oil tank.
Thank goodness. That was driving me crazy. I'm watching these cars. There's no way you could run with a piece of brake rotor missing like that. It had to be a car in the garage.
Well, I hate the Kenseth had the problem, but at least he wasn't a victim of someone else's problem.
I'm just glad we found the brake rotor.
Me too.
Where it came from.
That was really getting on my nerves.
That was going to keep me up all night. Time for our singular virtual crew chief question. Should all short track races in Nextel Cup
okay to be responsible.
Now move title. 10-4. Okay, next car back, 2 back is a 17 on fresh tires. One back, he's using the bottom, just giving the bottom. Inside corner. All the way inside, they'll be clear behind him.
I'm doing the best I can do all the time. I need some help. Tell me what you're going to do to help me. Don't tell me to do my best, because I'm always going to do my best.
Well, Mr. Driver, you can wait till a caution, or you can just bring it on in now. What do you want to do?
Well, I'm going to do my best.
Okay.
I can promise you that.
On the left, Kevin Harvick in traffic. And Casey Mears started third, but now he had a spin behind Jeff Green's spin, and now Mears goes a lap down. And on the right, the battle for 6th place. Now that Denny Hamlin has gone on, Gordon's trying to hold off Kyle Busch, his teammate, and Jeff Burton.
If there's a man that wants to see a caution right now, it's Casey Kane in that 9 car, because he would make one of his laps up by being in front of the leader when the caution came out.
Right. If he gets passed, because Harvick is now lapping cars, he would no longer be eligible for the free pass.
Yeah, like right now, if the caution came out, Casey Mears in the 42 would get the free pass. He's 1 lap down. We're riding with Jeff Burton here in the 31 car, guy that ran a close second to his teammate Kevin Harvick, who's leading this race in the Busch race last night.
Now, last night he looked a lot like the 5 of Busch down on the bottom, trying to get by somebody, I forget who it was. That bottom is a hard row to hoe, buddy, when you're down there pinned down by the car on the outside. Whoa! Man, that 5 looked like he got sideways there when he drove right up in front of his teammate.
But I'm going to tell you what, Jeff Burton in that 31, did he ever bail that thing off in the turn 3 and it stuck in the high side? He just cleared them all and said, boys, I'm tired of fighting this deal.
Well, Burton spent 5 laps behind this crowd, and I think finally decided he had to go.
Well, I think what really helped the situation is Jeff Gordon has decided, I want these people off my back bumper, and he's moving down out of the way, too.
I've had enough being loose and them back there aggravating.
Worrying me to death.
So Burton,
I'm doing the best I can.
Burton, Busch, the 25 go by, Vickers, and so does Ryan Newman. Meanwhile, Jr. and Biffle now fight for second. They are 1 second behind Kevin Harvick.
Comes old Blue down there on the bottom, too. The Blue Deuce is on the loose.
Looking back at Kurt Busch now in that 2 car, back in the 4th position.
And the traffic is about to get heavier for our leaders.
And that traffic, they'll be driving like desperate men trying to stay on the lead lap.
Fast cars coming. Could be trouble. Spotters are on there. Crew chiefs are on there. You got to pick it up.
Mayfield a lap down again. Jeff Green 1 down. And now Harvick goes to work on Michael Waltrip's Napa Dodge while second place is side by side.
Dale Earnhardt Jr. in that 8 Budweiser car just turns it to the bottom. Clears Greg Biffle. He'll take the second spot away. They're a little over a second behind our leader, Kevin Harvick.
I'll tell you what, I mentioned it a little bit ago, that 48 car, he's just, there he goes, and here they come. I mean, he is getting ready to go a lap down here, boys, if something doesn't happen.
About 2 seconds in front of our leader, Kevin Harvick.
You can see that Casey in the 9 got through the traffic a little better than Harvick did. Of course, they know Casey's not the leader, so they're not going to race him quite as hard as like Michael is, Kevin right now. But there comes the 48 right there. And that's how close he is to going lap down, boys.
Yeah, it's less than half a straightaway from Jimmy Johnson back to Kevin Harvick. So Johnson, here's Harvick.
Whatever adjustments they made, Larry, certainly didn't help him any.
It's like he gave up that track position up there in the top 15, 12, and just he's not went anywhere.
Biffle continues to fall as Kurt Busch comes up to challenge for third.
You know, this is by far the longest run that we've had with these guys on the same tires. They have been out there 80 laps with some cautions, and it's like Greg's car maybe just not quite as good on the long run as like Kurt Busch in the 2, Dale Earnhardt Jr. in the 8 car. Starting to lose some positions. You see Mark Martin in the 6, Biffle's teammate, pulling up into the equation as well, back there in 5th spot.
Hamlin is 6th, Burton 7th, Kyle Busch, Vickers, and Newman the top 10.
Whole lot of racing going on.
Feeling racy?
Feeling good.
Raise that track bar around and drop the left side to half pound. You can get the 88. Still outside. Clear. Outside. Clear. 03. All clear. All clear.
Tony Stewart has pulled the cord, and he just drove past Jeff Gordon and Carl Edwards within the last 3 laps. Now he sets off after Clint Boyer, who is the 11th place car in the 07. So Stewart has come to life.
Well, Mike, I think back to last week, and I don't know how many times I said, boy, Tony's driving a race that's sort of uncharacteristic. Lay in back, wasn't really up near the front, but when it came time to go, what did he do?
He went. I'm going to tell you another car that's been going. Bobby Labonte in this 43 car qualified back in the 35th position. He just drove by Jeff Gordon to take over the 13th spot. So this car has been making its way to the front all night long.
And Carl Edwards was right in the thick of this battle, the Office Depot Ford. But coming off turn 2 alongside Stewart, Edwards slipped and lost a couple of spots. Now he's regaining momentum and moves around Jeff Gordon to 14th.
And right behind Carl Edwards in the 99 is Sterling Marlin in the 14 car. May the 8th, 2 days from now, will be his 30th anniversary of being in Nextel Cup. 18 years old, Nashville Speedway, 1976. He made his first start, DW.
I was there.
Were you racing against him?
I was racing against him, but listen, think about Phoenix. Man finished 12th in that car. This track is so similar, same tires, same everything. His short track program has been pretty darn good.
Even ran good at Martinsville. Yeah, he said there, told us on trackside, struggling at the 1.5 mile, 2 mile fast racetracks with this new setup package, but pretty solid on the short tracks.
Yeah, if you talk to him very much about any other track, he'll talk about Corbine. That's all he talks about. It's got him all puzzled.
It's a great story about Marlin's first run at Talladega. He was going to drive for his dad, and they're all the families at the dinner table. And Cuckoo says to his wife, pass the mashed potatoes, Sterling's going to run Talladega.
Yeah.
That was the end of the conversation right there.
Tell you what, Harvick, though, is reeling in our points leader, Jimmy Johnson, in the 48 car. Right now, Johnson in the 30th spot. And just to update the people that just joined us, about 60 or 70 laps ago, a caution came out. Most of the leaders stayed out, but Jimmy Johnson, Chad Knaus in the 48 car decided to make a pit stop, restarted back in 30th, and he has absolutely went nowhere from there.
Well, now, Larry, he should be able to stay out on the racetrack a teeny bit longer than, say, Harvick and some of the lead cars can because of that late stop.
And speaking of Harvick, Dale Earnhardt Jr., Kurt Busch, all of our leaders, we're about 10 to 15 laps away from what would be a green flag stop.
Now, Johnson's laps are only about 3/10 slower than Kevin Harvick's, but here he is at 167 laps going 1 lap down. One of his teammates not faring much better. Here is Jeff Gordon in 15th place, Steve.
And Mike Joy, he's frustrated right now. He wasn't that long ago. He was running in the top 5, and as you said, dropped all the way down to 15th. He just told crew chief Steve Letarte he's tried to change his line. He's tried to run the high side, but he just can't do it. He's too loose. As soon as he picks up that throttle and all the way off the corner.
Thanks, Steve. Kevin Harvick leads Dale Earnhardt Jr. by 2.6 seconds. Harvick, a winner last night, trying to do the double in Virginia.
Back inside by a fender. Inside. Still there. Still inside. Still there. You're pulling him. Clear. All clear. Leader's 2 cars back. Clear. All clear. Car head of the bottom. Inside by a fender. Inside. Clear. All clear.
Think about just doing that same adjustment again. Want to go halfway, like a half a pound, and 1 round up on the track bar.
Inside, the 96 inside.
Greg Biffle gives up 6th place to be the first car to make a green flag stop. Matt?
Mike, you've already seen the tear-off pulled off the windshield by a crew member. Biffle complaining about the visibility. Doug Richard has called for an air pressure adjustment. 14.7 seconds.
And if you're one of the cars up near the front, to make a 4-tire green flag stop here as he's trying to get some heat in his tires right off the bat, remember pit road speed 40 miles per hour, you're going to lose almost 2 laps. If you're one of the cars that's a half a lap down or more, you're going to lose 2 laps on a green flag stop, so you don't need any mistakes on these green flag pit stops.
Now, Larry, they were the first to stop. Maybe still a little gun shy after running out of gas a couple weeks ago.
Well, I'll guarantee you, very similar racetrack at Phoenix. You got to believe a lot of the Roush cars would be. Got a little battling, heating up here for 4th place. Denny Hamlin in 11 just goes by Kurt Busch in that 2. Again, we're very close to all of our leaders making green flag stops.
Yeah, Kurt is starting to fall back a tad. He's ready to make a pit stop here pretty quickly. He was up there challenging Dale Jr. a bit ago, and Jr.'s driven off and left him.
But Mike, at a short track like Richmond, where you lose so much time making a green flag stop, and the tires don't give up that much. You want to run until you know you have to pit. You do not want a short pit here.
That's one thing that I think Johnson does have in his favor. Should be able to stay on the racetrack a tad longer than some of these lead cars.
Yeah, because he pitted on lap 97. All of our leaders pitted on 67. He should be able to go about 25 or 30 more laps than those guys.
So that may, in fact, turn out to be his savior.
Kevin Harvick pulling in on J.J. Yaley, the 22nd place car.
Oh, Harvick's putting a hurting on all these guys right now.
Kyle Busch is in 13th, right behind his Hendrick teammate Brian Vickers, and we listened into Kyle talk about track condition.
No rear grip, none, zero. Touch the gas, you're gone. 10-4, buddy. Make sure we get it to pit road here. Just take care of it.
Sounds like he's fighting the same thing as his teammate Jeff Gordon in 24 that's right behind him. Touches the throttle, the rear wheels will not hook up, the rear tires.
Got rear wheel spin. 26 is in.
Another Roush car.
Jamie McMurray, and
here comes another one.
Mark Martin is
got a car around down here in the corner. It's Carl Edwards trying to get into the pits.
And the caution is out. Caution is out. Now Mark Martin in the 6, he did not stop on pit road. He kept going, so he should stay on the lead lap.
So at lap 185, in turn 4, Edwards spins trying to be the 4th Roush car to get to pit road. And instead, he's going to trap a couple of his teammates laps down because he brought out the caution.
But you got to believe that Mark Martin's spotter had to be heads up that time.
I think Mark's okay. I believe that the car gets run into. Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Clint Boyer.
But he maybe was trying to get to pit road.
No, he was definitely trying to get on pit road. He just didn't let the guy behind him know.
That'll give you a case of acid reflux. So here's Mark coming in.
Right here, spotter said caution, caution, caution. He just kept going, maintained his 40 miles per hour, stays on the lead lap. Gave up a lot of track position, of course, but at least he's on the lead lap.
Nice save.
Yeah, he didn't have to speed even. He had plenty of time.
Harvick's in, and most of the leaders will follow. Dick?
Harvick, who has dominated this race. Golly, they took the slightest adjustment in the left rear corner of this car. He has absolutely dominated this race with a car that is nearly perfect, just a little bit tight off the front steam.
Dick Kurt Busch is saying that he feels like he's tipped over on the right rear tire. They're going to take 1 pound out of the left front, half a round out of the right rear. Matt.
You can see the wedge wrench in the back window of Dale Earnhardt Jr. Chevrolet. Now he said the car is about a 3.5 on a scale 1 to 10, tight in the center of the corner. On the right top, you can see Denny Hamlin's Chevrolet. His junior's already down and away. Now they've been making small adjustments for Denny Hamlin. Track bar in the last stop, air pressure again this stop.
Earnhardt, Hamlin, Kurt Busch lead him off, then Stewart, Newman, and Bobby Labonte. So the caution flag flies for the 6th time in the Crown Royal 400.
Everybody ran up the racetrack. There wasn't anybody on the bottom there.
Okay, yeah, that's 29. He's good. He's rolling the center pretty good and everything. We were running the 80s. He can run in the mid-70s, so we're really good, but he's just a little bit better car, and hopefully we help him out here a little bit.
So what I see from his car and a couple other cars is their left front's down, 4 in the center through the corner. You know, the car's flatter, and that's just helping them get to the gas sooner with the car like turning a little bit better than mine. But I'm creeping up on that tight because I'm starting to get, you know, I don't want to be where I can't get up off the corner.
10-4.
That's as far as, you know, what's the change on the car. I just don't want to get to where I can't get up off.
Yeah, I'm trying to keep that in mind. That's why when you told me a while ago, you got a little bit of spin here and there. I'm just trying to be careful not kill you forward right.
10-4.
One to go this time, Jeff. 1 to go. 16 and 26 are at the front of the line. They're both on the tail end. Tail end.
All right, got to have lap cars coming inside. Okay, 210 to go, bud. You will take the green flag yourself. Plenty of racing left. No worries.
Just got to try to stay in front of 29 if we can. Yeah, you and Biffle lead lap, tail end, coming to the green.
NASCAR, and proud sponsor of Dale Earnhardt Jr. and the number 8 car.
Here we come for the restart to begin lap 191. Greg Biffle and Jamie McMurray on the tail end of the lead lap in front of race leader Kevin Harvick. So they have the option of starting in the lead lap lane in front of the leader or to the inside. They opted for the lead lap lane, and that's why Harvick is behind them.
And how they end up on the tail end of the lead lap, remember they went a lap down when they made a green flag stop because their tires were brand new. They decided to stay on the racetrack. That way they go then to the tail end of the lead lap.
But fuel mileage is killing Biffle. Cost him a race at Phoenix. Here he is, he had to pit early because he had to get fuel. Caution comes out. Now he's at the tail end of the lead lap.
J.J. Yaley got the free pass on that caution.
There's Casey Kane in that 9 car still trying to get one of those 5 laps back. He would love to see some quick cautions here. Casey Kane in the 9.
Well, he's running good enough, Larry, that on these restarts, he can hang up there for a little while. But when that 29 gets wound up, look out.
Last year's winner,
Nobody's
Kane.
going to hold him back.
Here's his teammate. Ooh, Menard's car of Robbie Gordon slips. And Scott Riggs tries for the spot.
Robbie Gordon, Scott Riggs, they're both on the lead lap back there in the 18th, 19th spot. We've got 22 cars on the lead lap right now.
Carl Edwards is there as well. In the 99, he is still on the lead lap, despite being the cause of the caution when Clint Boyer got into the back of him.
I'll tell you one thing, when they're wadded up like this, he who hesitates gets run over.
Yes. Absolutely. Scott Riggs been on a little bit of a roll here in the last 4 races, 3 top 10s. And Casey Kane now, he drives by Greg Biffle in the 16. Now Harvick in the 29, our race leader, trying to put Greg Biffle that lap back down.
Harvick's car just gets down in the corner so good. He can drive it all the way to the center of the corner. So I can put it, watch him put a slide job on Biffle right here.
And we've talked about how this track is so similar to Phoenix. Biffle was so good at Phoenix that this is one car that if Kevin Harvick can put a lap down, he needs to work at it and get it done.
It could come back to haunt him if he does not.
Right.
And just what a role Kevin Harvick is on. You heard Chris Myers talking the pre-race, just re-signed with Richard Childress Racing for 3 additional years. Squashed all the rumors about the future of going with Toyota.
Biggest mover in this race, Bobby Labonte and Richard Petty's Cheerios 33. Elliott Sadler, who would like nothing more in racing than a win at his home racetrack, where he used to come here and sit in the grandstand.
See Tony Stewart in the 20 car, moved up to the 5th position. Bobby Labonte in that 43 car, still on the lead lap, sitting there in 6th behind Tony Stewart.
And that thing's running good as my Petty driving school car. That baby's right tonight.
Now, did you pick Bobby Labonte this week like you did at Phoenix?
No, I took Dale Jr. this week, but I know Bobby's going to be good.
Now, Biffle is not giving Harvick a lot of room. He's running the same lap times, so he is not yet getting the blue flag, which is the move over flag, which you get when faster cars are coming. But
he might get the move over bumper, though, if they don't watch out here. That's 2 rocks right there.
And neither one's going to move.
Halfway.
You got to be kidding.
Yes, sir.
There's a welcome sight.
That's how the drivers know, besides the crew chiefs and spotters telling them. The flagman crosses those 2 flags, makes an X.
When you get those green flag runs like that, those long greens, man, the laps go by fast.
Now, NASCAR will give Biffle a passing flag if they think he's holding Harvick up, but right now, doesn't quite seem to be the case.
No, and not only that, you got to remember, he's trying to stay on the lead lap, so he can't just roll over.
No.
But while this is going on, Dale Earnhardt Jr. in the 8 car, he's loving watching this because he is reeling these boys in right there. But you know, one of our FedEx Racetrack keys, control your emotions. I think this is where Todd Barrier, the spotter for Kevin Harvick, has to say, look, yeah, we want to put him a lap down, speaking of Greg Biffle, but don't get yourself in trouble. Do it. Don't beat that right front fender off.
Here's the other thing, too. I always say don't race people that can't beat you, but that guy can beat you.
Oh, yeah.
So if you can get him in a hole, put him in it.
But don't put yourself in the hole with it.
Let's see how you voted on our singular virtual crew chief question. Should all short track cup races be run at night? 64% say yes, they should.
Got my vote.
Remember, when you participate in singular virtual crew chief, you're automatically entered to win Jeff Burton's payday for the July race Daytona.
If I had a short track, on Saturday night when we're racing, I'd have Nextel Cup night. I'd have the big screen in the center of the track. You can watch the local races run and watch the big screen and watch the cup cars run at the same time.
He came up with that idea all on his own.
2 for the price of 1 plus $1.
How about that?
Tax and license included.
Just past halfway, Kevin Harvick still fighting to get past Greg Biffle, but he is your leader over Dale Earnhardt Jr. by 1.6 seconds.
That 16's going to be the lucky dog now. We're going to have to go up and pass him. At 4.
Inside, the 24 inside by a fender, inside. All clear. Six inside by a fender, at your door, inside. Still there, still inside. Still inside. All clear.
Traction off is a lot better. You start to get stuck in the middle.
We're all clear. Inside, inside.
clear. Inside. Still there, still inside. Clear, all clear. Back inside, inside. You're pulling him. Clear, clear. Inside by a fender, inside. Back inside by a fender, inside.
Rotors are glowing on Cousin Carl's car, the 99 car.
Now Nemechek is a lap down. He made a big announcement yesterday with the folks at Checkers Rallies to try to collect items for servicemen abroad between May 8th and June 14th. You can drop off at any Checkers Rallies location. The troops are looking for battery operated fans, bandana cool ties, CDs, DVDs, computer flash drives, handheld video games, and maybe most importantly, personal letters of support. A great program.
You know, as we ride with Joe Nemechek, look up there at that one car, and we've been talking about this all year long, our rookies. And here we are at Richmond in their rookie season. We've got 3 rookies in the top 15. Martin Truex Jr., the one car, I know he's battling Carl Edwards, sitting there in the 15th spot. And then you spin ahead to Kevin Harvick and Jeff Burton's teammate Clint Boyer in the 07. He's sitting there in 10th. And then Denny Hamlin in the 11 car, his home field here, he's sitting there in the top 5 in 4th. Darrell, I gave you some Prilosec, by the way. Did you see that I brought you some?
I did, and I am so grateful. I tell you, you've been killing me. Oh, Dale Jarrett just got...
Yeah, he and Hamlin got together.
He and Hamlin did something back there. Sorry about that, but something bad happened back there.
This is for 6th place, Bobby Labonte and Ryan Newman.
Yeah, Larry, you've been killing me with that.
Well, when I cause a problem, I try to solve it, so I brought gifts.
Thank you. Well, M&M's and Pirates. We got a great thing going here, buddy.
These 2 boys here, though, Ryan Newman in the 12, Bobby Labonte in the 43, they've been going at it for a while. And as they've been going at it, Jeff Burton back there in the 31 car, he's pulling up on their rear bumper.
Look on the right of your screen, though, as Tony Stewart just passes Reed Sorensen and goes to work on Denny Hamlin for 4th place. Sorensen is a lap down. He had caught Hamlin, but then they caught Sorensen, so they've got a little separation there, Matt.
Mike Hamlin came on the radio and said not really sure what that was, but his spotter, Curtis Markham, said slight cosmetic damage to the fender, but nothing to be worried about. Denny was telling his team moments ago the car is about 75% better. Still a little tight in the center. This car is really more to his liking than it was earlier in the race, and it shows he's 4th.
Yeah, I think you'd need a car a little bit tight with that bad wing he's got. You don't want to have to be turning left and right. Just let me tug to the left.
You know, a car we need to update, Mark Martin in the 6 car. Remember when that last caution came out on lap 183, he was running in the top 5, but he had hit pit road for a green flag pit stop. Spotter was heads up. He did not stop, but he had to go to the rear of the field. After making his pit stop, he has worked his way back up to 12th. And I think Dick Bergman, there's a very special story going on in the 6 pits.
Yeah, indeed. Rick Harima, a military fellow, lost his life in combat in Iraq. He was a big Mark Martin fan, and after he lost his life, friends and family asked if this number 6 car could carry the decals of the driver and also a picture in the car. So they got their wish. Decals on each side of Mark Martin's car and the photograph on the inside. Rick Harima lost in combat in Iraq, riding around and away with Mark tonight.
Thanks, Dick. Tony Stewart was battling the 11 for 4th place, and now drifted way back from Denny Hamlin.
Again, Larry, just keep... Oh, 24's off the pace on the back over there. That doesn't look good.
He's going to make it to pit road, but Jeff Gordon's going to at least
I don't think he's running
off the lead lap.
I don't see any flat tires. I don't think he's under power.
I have no power. Just completely shut off. And I've tried all boxes, batteries, everything.
Hit the button on your steering wheel.
You gonna make it down here? You gonna make it to the pit stall, buddy?
Well, that's a good question. Yes, he will make it to his pit stall.
And Darrell, what you mean the button on the steering wheel? There's a kill switch the driver has there in case the throttle hangs, and I don't know how many times we see a driver hit that switch and he doesn't realize it.
When I hear a driver say, I just lost power all at once, that's the first thing I think of is that button on the steering wheel.
Steve, any clue?
Mike, I'm listening to Jeff Gordon on the radio. Steve Letarte said, open the hood. They're mystified. They have no idea why that race car is not under power.
Remember, he comes in here 6th in the points, so this will be a big hit for Jeff Gordon in this 24 group.
And look on the left of your screen, a lot of traffic for Kevin Harvick. Elliott Sadler alongside J.J. Yaley just ahead, and Casey Kane. Harvick trying to pick his way through.
And I know Casey Kane in the 9 has to be so frustrated. It's like, where are those debris cautions at?
I'm thinking the same thing, Larry. Got a great car sitting up there. He's been able to, about the only guy that can keep up with Harvick, but he's 5 laps down.
And just can't make him up.
Let's go back to what happened to Tony Stewart. He gets as far as the bumper of Denny Hamlin racing for 4th place right here.
A lot of brake there on that 20 car going down in the corner. Give him a little shot. He'd been holding him up. Denny had been holding him up some. I've been watching him race pretty hard here for a while.
Now these are teammates.
In fact, to me, he was maybe trying to chase him back down again and just overdrove the corner up the racetrack.
Yeah, you can see the car kind of dog walking up the racetrack.
Dog walking?
Well, it's just a little bit better than turkey walking.
Thanks.
We're getting a report that they did check to see if it was the kill switch on the 24 on the steering wheel Darrell was talking about. It was not. It looks like this team will make that dreaded left-hand turn behind the wall of the garage area.
The only thing worse than dog walking, turkey walking is when they pogo. They get the pogoing and you got no hope. Larry.
I'm listening to you. I'm just watching this battle, looking out the back of Jeff Burton, the 31 car, looking back at Ryan Newman in the 12 car. Ryan right now in the 8th position, Jeff Burton 7th.
Why don't you just tell me do the best I can?
Do the best you can.
Or you can just come on in here and we'll pit now.
Kevin Harvick, your leader. Dale Earnhardt Jr. is 1.5 seconds back. Had this to say.
About 5 car lengths back to the 2 now, Junior, if you have to make one of your patented top to bottom moves or something.
I'm driving as hard as I can drive.
I'm not sure that's what exactly they were questioning right there with Dale Earnhardt Jr., but that was his response.
It is, and one of the things that I've kind of enjoyed the last couple of 3 weeks, I rode with Kurt Busch at Phoenix. Then I rode with Casey Kane today here at Richmond. These guys, these younger drivers, one thing I see them doing, they challenge the race car. It doesn't matter if it's the car out here doing a little ride around with me or the race car on the racetrack. They never let up.
From the time they unload the car on Fridays.
They know one speed.
Wide open.
200.
Get in the front tires. Got a hunkle buck coming up off.
Inside. Still inside. Still there, still inside. Clear.
Joe's man in the world.
Yeah, I know, he always does that.
6.
Lap 244, Kevin Harvick, your leader. Time for a Visa race break. By the way, Kevin Harvick has led the most laps he's ever led in any single race, 186 and counting. Night racing on a short track, always a good show. Kevin LePage was okay, his car not. Now the points leaders, Jeff Hammond, all having problems tonight. Casey Kane came in 4th in points.
Yeah, he had a plug wire come off, went in the garage area, effective repairs, but in the process he lost 5 laps.
Matt Kenseth came in 2nd in points.
Yeah, they broke a brake rotor, and because of that, it went through the oil tank, and they had to go behind the wall also and change the oil tank and repair the brake rotor.
Jimmy Johnson, the points leader, goes down a lap as Harvick passes him. Mystery problems here.
Yeah, just car not really performing like he needed to be. And Kevin Harvick being on the rail right now, making tonight really a long night for Jimmy Johnson, our point leader.
Also, Jeff Gordon came in 6th in points, losing power moments ago.
All of a sudden, the car just quit running. He had to bring it to pit road, and right now they've got it in the garage area, and they're working with it. Steve Burns, what's going on with the 24 car?
Well, Jeff Hammond, they're still trying to diagnose the problem. They said there's no spark. They're looking. They've taken the distributor cap off. They think it might be an ignition problem. And also, Jeff, want to let you know, understand Kurt Busch in the 2 car, running in the 3rd position, has a right front tire down.
Boy, bad things happen. And in this case, it's Kurt Busch with the right front. They're going to make a chassis adjustment, fill him up with fuel while he's in there, with 152 laps to go.
And since it's been about 55 or 60 laps, I would have thought they maybe would have went ahead and changed 4 tires on that car, but they elect to go with just the 2 right sides and put a little bit of fuel in.
I got to believe it, though, Larry. Think about it. He was coming off turn 2. He started hard, and I got a flat tire. They come to pit road. They just had to service him and get him out of there as quick as they could.
This has been a Visa race break. No matter what it takes, life takes Visa. We're at 250 of 400 laps. Kevin Harvick has led 3/4 of this race, and he has accomplished the last 2 weekend sweeps. In the spring race last year at Bristol, he won the Cup race and the rained-out Busch race on Monday, and this year he won both the Busch Series and the Nextel Cup race at Phoenix. It's only happened at this track once, when the track was enlarged to 3/4 of a mile and first raced at night. Harry Gant, September of 1991, won the Busch race and the Cup race on Saturday night in the same weekend.
We know if he leads 6 more laps, he will lock up that 5-point bonus for leading the most laps, because that would be 200 laps. But the interesting thing, a lot like Talladega last week, 4 of our top 6 in points have had problems. The 48 car's not performing. Kenseth had his oil tank problem. Kane had his spark plug wire problem. And now Jeff Gordon behind the wall. The only 2 that has not had problems in the top 6, Tony Stewart in the 20, Mark Martin in the 6 car.
And just a few weeks ago, we were saying that the 20, the 48, and the 17 were in a league of their own. And all of a sudden, the 29 is in a league of all his own.
Now, Tony Stewart is caught back up to Denny Hamlin for 4th place, and we're going to see Kurt Busch on pit road again, pitting outside the box, right side of the car, outside the box violation, or outside half of the pit box tire violation, so he'll be back for a drive-through penalty.
What the rule is, no matter what you do, if you change 2 tires or 4 tires, before the car can leave, there's an imaginary line down the center of the pit box from front to rear. All equipment has to be back across that imaginary center line. I do not think the tires were, so it's basically a drive-through penalty for the 2.
And that's what happens on a 2-tire stop. The guys didn't get the stuff all back before he left, I guess.
So I rest my case. If they'd have changed 4, they'd have 4 fresh tires, probably wouldn't have a penalty.
Probably.
It's easy to figure it from up here.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I saw that coming.
Here's a look at it. Now that tire comes back.
It's the jack. So you can't, I think the jack has to go back around. Doesn't it, Larry?
I'm not sure on the jack, but they are saying it was the rear tire.
Right. Rear tire, okay.
Yeah, I don't think the jack has to be back.
No, you're right. The jack doesn't have it.
Oh, no. How many times do you say don't beat yourself? Kurt Busch was too fast exiting pit road, and he's back.
Another drive-through penalty. Right now, he's 3 laps down. this will put him at least 4 laps down, and the hits just keep on coming.
Kevin Harvick lapping past Tony Raines. He has locked up the voters for leading the most laps.
Clear. Let's stay in the front end, go high, go high, go high.
Didn't lose the spot, did I?
He's a bum.
Damn, I was coming.
Yeah, you was rolling right there.
Good job on the car. The car just needs a little bit of turnability in the center. Will be really good. Coming in this time.
Pits are open, pits are open. 4,200, same deal on this 12 car now.
In away right there. Come on, come on. Right there, come on. Right there. Hey, go, go, go. Clear all the way out. Clear all the way.
Good stop, guys.
Where it just feels good.
Some here. Clear entering, clear.
Jamie McMurray comes onto pit road. And let's show you why we're under this caution. Watch the one.
See the dust fly, that's on exit there coming off turn 4. Everybody's running really high down here in 3 and 4, right up next to the wall in the middle of the corner, but he got a little too much of that debris on his tires.
Then watch the 96 come into the picture. Tony Raines, that'll be next.
Boy, Carl Edwards in the 99 just gets by.
Now here comes Raines. He's going to be in front of Dale Jr.
Well, here's you see what happened. Kevin slows down. It's almost as if it's almost like the 96. I got to beat him back to the line. And then right at the last second, he said, no, we don't race back to the line.
He spun out to keep from hitting our leader,
to keep
Kevin
from hitting
Harvick.
Kevin.
Just hold what you got. Hold what you got. Keep it down. Come on, come on, come on, come on.
And that created an anxious moment for this driver.
He's running in second right here. Is stopped. Nowhere to go.
And then we had pit stops. While the Pirate, Captain Jack, got the lucky dog. Free pass.
When you think about Tony Raines, and you know, he's just been in this car this year for the first for the last few races. I almost can guarantee you he was thinking, I got to beat Harvick back to the line. Then it dawned on him, you don't, because we don't race. Locked it down and spun it out. He's going to run into Harvick if he didn't.
Pretty much all of our leaders, all 16 on the lead lap, made pit stops. 4 tires here with about 137, 138 laps to go. Still be a stretch to make it to the end from here. But one thing that did happen when that caution came out, and I think one of those replay angles showed it, Casey Kane in the 9 was finally in front of Kevin Harvick, gets one of his lap back. But how about our leader, Dick Berger?
There is such a thing as a perfect race night. Happy Harvick is having just that. It was a perfect pit stop. They took just a half a round out of the left rear to Matt. And
Dale Earnhardt Jr. hit road in second and is still second. Small tweak with air pressure. His car almost perfect. Denny Hamlin, he was telling Mike Ford, his crew chief, I'm using a lot more brake on this run. Spotter Curtis Markham told Mike where the damage to the fender was about 2 o'clock or so in that position on that right front fender, so they know where to pull it out, but also to let Mike know just how much damage there was to messing up the downforce of the car. Meanwhile, Tony Stewart in fourth, Hamlin's teammate, a number of adjustments, still trying to get that car in that position where smoke needs it. Still too tight in the center, still too loose on exit.
Kevin Harvick has led all but 57 laps tonight, and we're back under green. Earnhardt Jr. still chasing.
He's staying with him right now in that 8 car. Whoa, Kurt Busch too.
Got a problem over there.
Him and Greg Biffle, I think, got together at the end of the backstretch.
Yeah, I got to believe that's one frustrated young man right now after all that's happened to him here going in and out of the pits. 3 laps down, running in 36. Come into the pits there a while ago with a flat tire, running 3rd.
And had a good race car.
Oh, Biffle just moves up in front of him right there, and they make a little contact. That was a great save on Kurt's part.
It looked like the reason Biffle moved up, he was catching Sterling Marlin in the 14 so fast he had to move up.
Now, Jeff Gordon earlier went behind the wall. The car was not running at all. Steve, what's the verdict?
And Mike, it still isn't. Jeff Gordon is still in the car, and the mechanics are still working on it. I just talked to Steve Letarte, the crew chief. He thinks it's a broken distributor, but they're still trying to salvage something out of this race.
Now, this is a team that has completed all but 2 laps of competition this year. So, no DNFs, looking like possibly one tonight.
Well, if it's a distributor, Larry, they can fix it, but seems like it might be worse. It might be something worse than that to me.
Looking back from Junior at Denny Hamlin. First, second, third. Here's our next singular virtual crew chief question. Will Kevin Harvick complete his second sweep of the season? Riding the crest of the wave. Winner last night in Busch, just signed a 3-year contract extension. Text the message crew to 191 or go to foxsports.com/singular.
41 car just got up out of the groove over in 2. I don't know if he hit the wall or not, but he's going again.
Well, you know, Darrell, a lot can happen in 130 laps, especially at a short track. I mean, all it would take is a few cautions, a few pit stops, cars get better, but it looks like to me it's the 29 car race to lose tonight.
Yeah, somebody down there is going to have to wave that magic wand over their car to make something to get up there and race with him. But I'm impressed with Hamlin now. That car is really good, and he's going under Dale Jr. right there now.
Battle for second right here we're looking at.
I'm really impressed with Hamlin because I know how bad that hand is hurting him. I talked to him Thursday night when we first got up here, and he was really worried about running both nights.
Got 19 stitches, Darrell, but last night during the rain delay, he wasn't holding it up. He didn't have it iced. He was just focused on racing.
But we know how bad he'd love to win here at his home racetrack. Grew up about 20 miles from here.
Man, if I was him and I just started doing, I hadn't been driving that long, I'd be tickled to death just be running 3rd at my home racetrack. I know at Nashville I was.
How about Denny Hamlin, Matt?
See some slight cosmetic damage hanging out, flapping in the breeze there right behind the right rear. Now, a big run tonight would not only be huge for Denny, but also for a 7-year-old race fan named Jared Thompson, a patient at the Children's Hospital here in Richmond. He helped design the helmet paint scheme that Denny is wearing tonight inside that cockpit.
Hey, Matty, was he? I know Denny was concerned about not being able to make an appearance at a hospital because he was in the hospital. Is that the same deal?
Same deal, D.
I know he was really upset about that, but he couldn't do anything about it.
Young Jared's a huge Denny Hamlin race fan, especially from right here in Richmond. So hometown boy rooting for hometown boy.
Tony Stewart's backing up, fellas. Here comes Bobby Labonte after him. He just got passed by Jeff Burton and Sterling Marlin.
Tony is just not good on the long runs. He's good on fresh tire. As you said, he lost that position to Jeff Burton. Bobby Labonte goes by him, and now he's got a rearview mirror full of the 5-car, Kyle Busch. Matt, what's going on with the 20 car here with less than about 125 to go?
Just takes a little while for that car to really get rolling at the beginning of a run. It's so much better the middle to the end of a run. In fact, during the last caution, Greg Zipadelli said to Tony, he said, just keep it up. You're really driving your butt off tonight. And Tony said, well, I've got plenty of it, so you can have as much as you want. Here's about another 145 laps left of it, guys.
Oh, man, you shouldn't have told that.
A lot of humor tonight on that radio. You can see by how this team is performing week in, week out. Mike talked about it. Darrell talked about it. Just a little bit different perspective, I think, this year, and it's showing on the racetrack.
And with the problems Matt Kenseth had with a split oil tank when he broke the brake rotor, Stewart is poised to move into second in the Nextel Cup standings.
We were talking about him earlier, and we're riding with him, Scott Riggs, in the 10 car back in the 11th position, just outside the top 10. Been solid all night long, definitely carrying the banner for Evernham Motorsports. As I mentioned earlier, the last 4 races, including Talladega last week, 3 out of those 4 top 10 runs. This team really coming to life after a team that missed the Daytona 500 back in February.
Well, that's a great race going on right there with Tony and Kyle Busch. But let me just tell you something. And did you just notice 29's leading, 31 is running 4th, and 07 is running 8th.
All Childress cars.
All those Childress cars, I mean, they have got something working, man.
All right, so does this mean that he doesn't have to go back to Africa anytime soon?
I think he can go wherever he wants to.
There's the Prilosec car at Boyer. No, it's a great story. Richard's coming back from Africa, coming back from Safari.
Blowing up down on the bottom. One. You got a copy?
Yes, sir. What's up?
All right, we'll probably stop here because we can make it from here.
I'm going to stop and get 4 tires. That's what a lot of people are going to do.
Get 4.
Cars, I'm supposed to be getting faster. The car's getting better. Just don't drive different, you know. So just keep your adjustments coming. Seems to be getting a little bit better. Still the same issues, nothing different.
Sprinkles left over Monday morning. Then we're right back to the sunshine.
Responsible for that.
Friday and Saturday, well, the
official tools of NASCAR. Craftsman at Sears.
Here are your Fanatics Grill Platters.
Ten out. 5, 4, 3, straight in. All the way out, all the way, all the way, all the way.
Told me they did not think they could make it on fuel, so they left him out there all by himself.
But Dick, it has nothing to do with being able to make it on fuel. It has to do with having 25 laps on your tires, and now everyone else on the lead lap has brand new tires.
And here's why we're under caution. Martin Truex was puffing smoke from the middle of the corner out, and then finally something grenaded in the tracker boats number 1. Now, remember what happened to his teammate Dale Earnhardt Jr. last week at Talladega? Spun, rotated backwards, and then blew the engine. Is this the same song, second verse?
Remember, Larry, I said, let's that thing up against the rev limiter. Remember, you said, yeah, he's just holding it wide open, which he was. Got to have something to do with it. I don't care what you say.
Now, Richie Gilmore with DEI did come forward this week and say that the engine failure was not due to the motor spinning backwards when Dale Earnhardt Jr. spun out. But we've seen this other times. I talked to Chad Canals, Jimmy Johnson's crew chief. He said it happened to them at Indy a couple of years ago. As we're looking at Todd Berrier, there's Chad Canals there. We'll see just how good that 29 car is, because he's the only car on the lead lap that did not pit.
Yeah, the only thing I'm going to say is I don't understand this strategy, Larry. I mean, we said it's their race to lose. I'm not so sure they didn't just take a big chance right here.
Late in the race.
With Jeff Hammond, Chris Myers, let's check on the KFC race summary with 110 laps to go. You see 4 different leaders, 9 lead changes, and Kevin Harvick has dominated a career high laps led so far, and he has clinched the lap leader bonus this evening. By the way, the last Richmond win by Richard Childress Racing back in '91, Dale Earnhardt. Of course, Kevin Harvick trying to hang on for Childress here.
And the other thing I'll tell you about Kevin Harvick, he has led the most laps 5 times in his career, but he's only got 1 win out of that, and it was back in Chicago in 2001. So he's going to have his hands full here today.
Next weekend, NASCAR moves to Darlington. Our coverage on Friday. Busch and Nextel Cup Series qualifying on Speed. Nextel Cup practice and Busch Series racing presented by Yamaha on FX. And next Saturday, begin with NASCAR Race Day on Speed and the Dodge Charger 500 on Fox. And then NASCAR Victory Lane wrapping up the entire weekend as our coverage of NASCAR continuing next weekend across the Fox networks. Racing from Darlington Saturday night. So the night racing continues on Mother's Day weekend, and we're getting ready to go green, so let's rejoin Darrell, Larry, and Mike.
Greg Biffle gets the free pass on this caution, Chris. So now 16 cars on the lead lap. They're in the outside lane as we get set to go with 108 laps to go. Kevin Harvick, who did not pit, leads the field around to green.
But you know what, Larry, I'm just looking at the rundown. There's some guys we haven't talked much about that are creeping up toward the top 10 now. Guys that are having great runs. Elliott Sadler's there in 8th place. Hadn't said much about him all night.
Yeah, he was one of the cars that got a free pass to get back on the lead lap not that many cautions ago.
And he, like Denny Hamlin, would give anything in the world to win a race at Richmond.
Riding with Riggs. And there's Sadler, the Pirates of the Caribbean paint job on his Robert Yates Ford for M&M's.
That's a movie, isn't it, Larry? Yes, it is. Movie comes out, I think, in July. Now, we're riding with Joe Nemechek in the Army car right now. Joe 2 laps down back in 28. Kevin Harvick has stepped it on out on Dale Earnhardt Jr. in the 8 as he's having to hold off Kyle Busch in that 5. That is a battle for position. Now, the 26 car of Jamie McMurray, the first car a lap down back in 17.
Yeah, that's what's holding Junior up. They had to get around to McMurray. Once they do, I think that those new tires, they're going to march right around Harvick. I don't care how good you are.
Now, what Kevin Harvick needs, he needs about a 20 to 25 lap run here, because that way if the caution comes out, we know he'll come to pit road and probably everyone will follow him. If we get one here right away, he's going to have to pit, and some of those guys may stay out.
Well, Todd Berrier may be thinking about last night's race, in which cars that stopped fairly late and got fresh tires were able to bust back up through and contend for the win, including Harvick's teammate Jeff Burton.
But the problem is Kevin Harvick has set such a torrid pace. We have so many cars a lap down. If you restart back in 12th, it'll be like restarting in 24th with all those lap down cars. Not many cars on the lead lap.
I really think that was the start of Jimmy Johnson's problems, Larry. He made a late stop, started back at the rear of the field about 30th and couldn't go anywhere and got lapped.
Kyle Busch in his 5 car really giving a battle to this 8 car of Dale Earnhardt Jr. But while these guys are going side by side, that little black dot back there is getting bigger and bigger, and that black dot is Denny Hamlin in that 11 car. Kevin Harvick in the 29 car, if he can run like he's running that right now on 25 laps more on his tires, you better believe it's Katie to bar the door for most of these guys.
Yeah, but he's gonna have diminishing value. These other guys are going to have improving value.
And we heard Todd Berrier say they cannot make it to the end should we stay green.
But Harvick, along with Dale Earnhardt Jr., are still the 2 fastest cars on the racetrack.
Well, he's only, what, 25 laps?
100 to go, 100.
25 laps on your tires, you're getting the best out of them right now you're going to get. The next 25, they're going to maybe hold their own, and then that next 25, they're going to go backwards.
Because they were able to cool down just a little bit on that caution.
And that car's not sliding around now. That's one thing about it. It's hooked up. That's getting the maximum out of your tires.
Comes Ryan Newman around the outside of Dave Blaney in the 22. And look at where the Childress cars sit. Last night they were 1-2. Harvick and Burton with a good run for Boyer. And they're all 3 in the top 10 right now. Here you ride with Jeff Burton, who's in a kind of a bubble by himself. Nobody ahead, nobody behind. Harvick the leader, Earnhardt second, and Kyle Busch, who finished 4th in both Richmond races in 2005, looking at 2nd place.
turn. Oh, that's a pretty big adjustment. We'll see what happens here. Just keep your patience. Keep doing what you've been doing all night. You're beating them more off of 2 now, June. About 2.5 car lengths back there now.
that 14 car a little earlier. He did go a lap down on that last green run, but Sterling has an awfully good car. I think it's going to be a tall order for Jimmy Johnson to catch Sterling to be the first car lap down, at least right now. There's Sterling right there in the Waste Management car.
Well, like we were saying, Larry, how many times have we seen the 48 crowd struggle, have trouble early in the race, middle of the race, late in the race, they find themselves in a position, get the lucky dog, get another caution, finish in the top 10.
Many times.
Mark Martin, Bobby Labonte, 9th place here, 9 seconds behind the leader.
And Mark Martin has definitely fought his way back. About 100 laps ago, we had cars getting into scheduled green flag stops. Mark was one of the 3 Roush cars to hit pit road, but heads up, before he got to his pit box, the caution came out. He drove through pit road, did not stop, stayed on the lead lap, and he has fought his way back from being at the rear of the field.
Much like Phoenix, had an issue in the pits, had a lug nut loose, had to come back to pit road, restarted about 30th, and had to drive himself. Have to drive really, really hard to get back to the front.
Now, 2 drivers you expected to run well here. Matt Kenseth had problems when a brake rotor broke and went through the oil tank. He's back on track 49 laps down. And Jeff Gordon is back in the race after solving whatever caused that engine to quit running. 75 laps in the garage, but Gordon's also back on track. Only 3 cars are out of the race: Truex, LePage, and Cope. Kyle Busch had been battling hard at Dale Earnhardt Jr., but now he's about to drift back into the clutches of Denny Hamlin. We listened in.
That 29 is unbelievable. I cannot believe that. That is some good stuff.
No doubt that 29 is Kevin Harvick, and Dick, he has a half-second lead. It's shrinking.
Kyle Busch started in the 21st position tonight, and when he began this race, the car was not good at all. Loose in, loose off, no rear grip on lap 175. Lap 225, tight in the center. Lap 250, concerns about brakes, but right now they are in the 3rd position. I talked to his crew chief, Alan Gustafson, who said they have gotten the car better and better all night long. And after our conversation, I started down the box. Gustafson grabbed hold of my arm, and he said, when you go back on the air, you be sure and tell everybody that my crew took that car from 7th to 3rd on the last pit stop.
Thanks, Dick.
Got a race, boys, got a race.
We got a race for the lead.
Those old tires are right at that point where they're going to start backing up.
Yeah, because, Darrell, it's been 30 laps since that last caution when Dale Earnhardt Jr. in the 8 and the other leaders changed tires. And right now, Kevin Harvick is approaching the 50 to 60 lap mark on his tires.
And Harvick's lap times have gone from 22:30s to 22:60s. 0.3 of a second might not seem like a lot, but on this racetrack, it'll bring those cars right to you and maybe by you.
And where it's going to be tough on Kevin Harvick, they're not that far from catching the tail of the field. It's going to be harder to maneuver on those older tires, regardless of how fast you are.
I think it's just a few laps here, and Junior will drive right by him. He's just got so much more grip. He's doing to Harvick what Harvick's done to everybody else all night, but now Harvick's at a big, big disadvantage. You look at that. He's got 3 cars ready to pounce right on him.
But, Darrell, we've seen that Junior's car has worked better on the outside of the racetrack. He's trying to pass Harvick on the inside.
Well, he should be able to, like I said, but then look who's right here in the picture. I mean, we got these guys all over each other.
We got 4 cars. It looks like the Busch race last night. You got Kyle Busch in the 5, Denny Hamlin in the 11.
And the 31 car is right there closing quickly.
We've got 110,000 people here, and basically with 77 laps to go, all of them are standing up, especially with that Budweiser car up there.
Kyle Busch thinks this is his house. Finished top 5 in both races last year and got his first career Busch Series win right here, May of '04.
I think Junior just decided he can't get by Harvick. Let somebody else try.
That somebody is Kyle Busch.
Yeah, as long as Harvick can keep these guys pinned on the bottom like he is, without, you just about got to rough him up to get by him.
Speaking of roughing up, about 5 laps ago, Tony Stewart moved Jimmy Johnson aside, not for position, but just to go on by and have a chance to challenge the top 5.
Riding with Jeff Burton here in the 31 car, and I would say for the first time tonight, probably Kevin Harvick, the 29 car leader, he would love to see a caution. He needs tires, and he needs fuel, not that many laps from now.
And he needs not to run out of laps there. There's only 74 to go in the Crown Royal 400.
Clear low. Inside, Jude. Still inside. Clear low, clear low. Still outside, Junior. Still outside. Still out there. Still out there. Still outside. Clear.
Still there, still there.
Into the moonset.
Now Dale Jr. had gotten pretty physical up there with Kevin Harvick, trying to take the lead, and then drifted to the back of this pack and explained to his crew why.
Yeah, Kevin, I'm sorry. I was trying to get off of him. I talked to him. You're cool. I'm not racing him off too. No, I talked to him.
Good to go. But I'm going to tell you what, I'm not sure if this Virginia crowd could be any happier. Denny Hamlin, the 11, leading the race, and Dale Earnhardt Jr. in the 8 car running second.
But you know what? Again this week, Dale Jr. just, he impresses the heck out of me, Larry. He is so apologetic when he does something on the racetrack. He doesn't want anybody out there to think he's not a fair driver. I mean, he goes out of his way to be fair.
He does not like controversy at all.
No, not at all.
Well, Denny Hamlin trying to become the 10th different winner in the last 10 races here at Richmond. The last Virginia driver to win here, Ricky Rudd, September 2001. And this state has produced some great racers and Hall of Famers.
Now, Kevin Harvick, the 29 car, who has led 272 laps of this race, as we see his teammate Jeff Burton get pretty sideways that last time off turn 2. Kevin Harvick has fallen back to 5th, 3.5 seconds behind leader Denny Hamlin, and looking for a caution and looking for one soon.
Yeah, and Larry, I just think the 29 car was overconfident. I think their car was so good that they got kind of almost tricked into staying on the racetrack.
And we pretty much know, should we stay green for these final 61 laps, everyone can make it to the end on fuel. Kevin Harvick in the 29, he's going to have to come to pit road in about 30 to 35 laps.
Hamlin is also trying to become the first rookie to win here since his teammate Tony Stewart got his first Nextel Cup win here in 1999. "60 laps to go in the Crown Royal 400. Denny Hamlin trying to hold on to a lead of 9/10 of a second in the FedEx Kinko's Chevrolet.
Clear low. Clear. Clear low. Clear. Got yellow off of 2, Junior. Got one in the fence off 2.
Store today.
Issue there with off the corner, but skating the nose pretty bad in the center, so we lost a lot of front grip up top. I'm sort of back down in the middle of the racetrack now. Just loose in, loose off, just a little bit tighter in the center. I was going to eat him up because I was so free, and I don't know if I can get off the corner to get by him.
All right, 10-4. Full safe fit right here. 4 tires.
Yeah, hell yeah.
On the next DVD on TV.
Blackhawk.
Closed.
Wow, that was kind of late, though.
And they were talking about opening, and the light went back red. There's some people on pit road.
Turn 1 wall. Now the pits are not yet open.
We got mistakes already. Jeff Burton in the 31, Mark Martin in the 6. They have pitted. Pit road is closed. The penalty for those guys will be tail end of the longest line on the restart. They've not even hit pit road, and we've already got mistakes.
Yeah, I mean, you got that light down there. I mean, that light is plenty visible.
Now here's why we're under caution.
That's a lick.
Now, inexplicably, Gordon came around to pit road, did not stop, and going all the way around again to his pit did a lot more damage to that Menards number 7.
All I know, this race on pit road right now here with 53 laps to go, this could determine Dick Berggren who wins or loses this race.
Yeah, indeed. Kevin Harvick on pit road. His crew chief has told him he was sorry about that decision. Said he's going to give 4 tires. Told Kevin Harvick, hold your breath and go. He was in 6th position. Harvick still has a chance to win this race. Steve.
Scott Riggs on pit road in the 10 car, trying to remain a factor in this race. He says his car has just gotten tighter as the race goes on. He's focusing on not overdriving the corners, Matt.
Danny Hamlin trying to score his first Nextel Cup Series win. Said, I am just killing them on exit. Do not do anything that may hurt my forward bite on exit. I just need to be a little freer in the center of the corner. Dale Earnhardt Jr., he needs to be a little tighter on exit.
Well, I know Matt Yoakum, Dick Berggren talked about it. The group that's killing them on pit road is Alan Gustafson in that 5 car of Kyle Busch. He wins the battle off pit road. That's 2 pit stops in a row. They picked up a total of about 7 positions.
They're dancing. They're loving it. They're celebrating. Good for them. Now watch the light that signifies whether pit road is open. There it is very clearly. Pit road is not open. And Jeff Burton came in. 50 laps to go in Richmond.
Bad thing about that 29 a while ago, June, was he was running exactly where we had to run, wasn't he?
Yeah, I got into him, I felt bad. So I was like getting ready to pull up, and the 5 was there.
Yeah. Slow to talk then, because I know you're busting your butt trying to get the lead, you know, but next time I'll go ahead and say something. I just would hate for somebody to be yapping in my ear when I was trying that hard.
I didn't know they'd caught me, and I was sort of giving up on that little charge I made, and I was going to back up and try again. You can't just ride around on the bottom, you know. I mean, you got to sort of get him set up for an exit, to sort of cross the track dive deal. But so I was getting ready to try again. I didn't know they'd run us down. That was all.
All right, now it's 49 to go. You have 48 laps to go when you get the green.
Well, you won't me up on the wheel. You'll count them down.
All right.
How hard is it for you to do it? He's got a pretty big job up there.
I just don't want to be talking over him. That's the hill. I'll tell you every 10.
He has 5 runs at the bottom, too, June. Coming.
Position from which to win. He's got a Busch victory here. He wants a Cup win. But now Kevin Harvick has fresh tires, so does just about everybody else. Here we go.
It's Saturday night, little 50-lap feature here. Main event.
Well, we'll see if the Rooster can hold them off.
Denny Hamlin in the 11 car right up beside Dale Earnhardt Jr. in the 8. That's the battle for second right there. Kevin Harvick in the 29 right up there to him.
Now Jeff Burton and Mark Martin, who pitted before the pits were officially open, had to restart 14th and 15th. Harvick, who has led most all of this race, is now in 4th place. He gets fresh tires and a reprieve from that strategy, and here he comes underneath Hamlin.
Just turns it to the bottom. He'll take the 3rd position away. And actually, Jeff Burton pitting too soon was a gift to Harvick. That was one less car he had to deal with on that restart.
43 car, Larry, on that restart. I don't know what he's got a tire down or what happened to him, but man, he has gone all the way to the rear of the field.
Bobby Labonte.
Bobby Labonte in that.
3 wide, turn 3.
3 by 3 by 3 over there.
And it sorts out 4 wide for a moment. And for the lead, Junior underneath Biffle. Oh, excuse me, underneath Kyle Busch.
And Kevin Harvick in that 29 says, guys, you run side by side. I'm going to make it 3 wide over here. I'll be there.
I just believe when you get that 8 car out front, get a little clean air on the nose. Adios.
There goes Kevin Harvick, turns underneath Kyle Busch. They're side by side off turn 2.
Can Harvick do the double? Here's what you said on our singular virtual crew chief question. $50-50. Don't forget, every time you play, you're entered for a chance to win Jeff Burton's payday in Daytona, July.
Darrell Harvick gets off the corner so good. When he turns that thing to go late exit, I mean, it just shoots off the corner.
Yeah, where we hear a lot of guys pedaling it, or where we hear guys spinning their rear tires, he doesn't have that problem, man. He mats it, and he is on it.
Right there, you can see him gain position.
Remember, at Phoenix, he would get the left sides down on the apron, and through the middle of the corner, he could drive by anybody he caught.
Dale Jr.'s last win, Chicagoland, 28 races to go. It was number 8's only win of 2005.
They're basically matching lap times, Larry. There's an 87 to an 84.
You don't think they've stepped it up, though? 4 laps ago, Dale Earnhardt Jr., Kevin Harvick ran their fastest lap of the race.
Now we question Jeff Burton and Mark Martin coming on the pit road before the pits were open. Here's the team communication about that.
Hit regardless of what they do. Is that correct?
Everybody stay, guys.
Scott, you told me to come, so I came.
All good. All good.
Pits were closed, guys. Pits were closed.
Yeah, it's not good because Burton's mired in 13th and he's stuck in heavy traffic, half a lap behind the leaders.
And Mark Martin's right there with him back in 14th position.
Yep. Elliott Sadler alongside.
We've got 39 laps to go, and right now our front 3 has somewhat stabilized up there. All running about the same lap times.
Jeff Gordon takes his car to the garage. He had distributor trouble. He got back in the race, and now he's done for the night.
You know, when you get late, this racetrack is physically demanding. I know it doesn't look like it would be, but it's fast, and you're turning all the time from the middle of 3 and 4 all the way down into the middle of turn 1. Burton ran the Busch race last night. Here we are late in the race tonight. Sometimes mental fatigue is part of what happened there on that caution light thing.
You know what? About 200 laps ago, when we had a green flag stop, Greg Biffle in the 16 car, who had been leading this race, he made a green flag stop. The caution came out. He went a lap down. That was about 200 laps ago. 80 laps ago, he got the free pass back on the lead lap. Here he's battling Tony Stewart to get back in the top 5. Greg Biffle in the 16 car. Nice recovery by that race team.
And that is certainly the biggest comeback of the night. Should we get another caution? Our point leader, Jimmy Johnson. Whoa, hang on, Jimmy.
Oh, he is sawing wood on that, in that thing.
He's the first car 1 lap down, so he would get the free pass on the next caution if there is one.
That's a pretty darn good recovery right there. I know he's only running 17th, but good grief, he was running 30th for most of the night.
Time running out, though. 35 laps to go. Dale Earnhardt Jr. in the Budweiser Chevy out in front of Kevin Harvick by half a second. Can he get his first win in the last 47 races tonight?
All clear.
out there. Still there. Clear, clear. Doing great. All clear, all clear. To go, 30 to go.
Imagine zero heartburn for 24 hours. Still there, still there. Still there, still there. They're 18 outside. Clear, clear.
Back here racing again tonight. This place is hard on you physically. I don't know how they do it.
Look at these two kids. Kids, maybe that's the reason.
That could be part of it.
Kyle Busch and Denny Hamlin fighting hard for third.
And don't forget about the week the drivers and the teams had before they got here. We raced at Talladega on Monday, tested for 9 hours a day for 2 days at Lowe's Motor Speedway in Charlotte, and then here on Friday.
It's been a very grueling week.
You know, we talked about the night Greg Biffle's had and that Greg Biffle needs. Another guy that needs it, we talked about him earlier, Ryan Newman. He's just quietly been in the top 10 all night long in this 12 car. And with 21 laps to go, he's up there in 7th. This would be his best finish since he finished 3rd in the Daytona 500 if he can maintain.
And he's got about a second on Clint Boyer. Childress with all 3 cars in the top 12. With Boyer 8th and Burton 12th. So Prilosec car.
My old home buddy there, Sterling, now last car on the lead lap. He's going to have a good finish tonight too. He's running 14th, 15th actually.
These boys here battling for 3rd. Denny Hamlin in the 11, Kyle Busch in the 5, and while they've been going at it, it allowed Kevin Harvick in the 29 to pull away just a little bit, but Harvick is almost a second and a half behind leader Dale Earnhardt Jr., 19 to go.
Junior won here in his rookie year. That was 2000. And he won this race in 2004. But last year, which was definitely an off year for the Budweiser team, Junior finished 14th and 20th at Richmond. What a turnaround for this team and the season they've had so far. He is 6th in the points at this moment.
This right here will do more for that team than anything that could happen to them. I think once they get that winning way back, they get that confidence back, look out.
And as we mentioned here, with 17 to go, he's starting to catch a lot of lap cars, but for the most part, they're strung out just a little bit as he pulls up on David Stremme in the 40 car. 16 to go for the Budweiser car this time.
He's going to get past Stremme. Good battle here as Hamlin catches Harvick.
Now Hamlin's car is really good on the bottom. Harvick's been really good up top. Hamlin is really good on the bottom. He can get off the corner underneath somebody and make the pass, just like we saw him
Turn
do right
3.
there.
Riggs and Vickers were fighting for position side by side for 4 laps. They connected. Riggs into the outside wall, Vickers to the inside.
Come on down.
Jimmy Johnson, lucky dog.
Come on.
Yeah, these two had been going at it for 10th position for about 10 or 15 laps.
Larry, the 48 car gets the pass. How many times have we seen it?
The next thing you know, he'll be up there battling the top team.
Well, we're into double digits. This is the 10th caution of the night. These two had been side by side for at least 3 laps.
See the brakes glowing on the 10 car, trying to stay off the 25.
A lot of damage to both those race cars.
Yeah, both cars took pretty hard licks.
Both these cars had great runs at Talladega last week.
Factor in, guys. Driver's side.
From Jeff Burton's singular Chevy. There's a look at it.
Two guys just getting down there at the corner at the same time.
Good job. Caution's out.
And that will put Burton into the top 10.
Got a few cars hitting pit road here with about 13 laps to go. Most of the top guys stayed out. We got Biffle, Carl Edwards, Jeff Burton, Mark Martin, several other cars back there making pit stops here.
Just 13 laps to go. Don't touch that dial.
And it all comes.
Before we go green here. Go around this 40 car. Wind down 10th away. 7, 5, 3, 2, 1. Stop. Come up, there you go. Went outside hard, hard, hard. Went outside. All right, give it 1 to go. Looks like we're racing the 32.
Great selection, great prices, a great place to buy.
He runs the bottom. 29 is behind him. They're going to be racing like mad back there. Pace car's off. It's yours to start, June. I'll holler when they throw the green. 10 to go.
This isn't one of those times.
I've got a wreck on the backstretch. Wreck on the backstretch.
Was one of those cars I talked about right before we went to break that made a pit stop.
They were 3 wide coming off turn 2 back there. Something had to give.
Let's see what happened here. Whoa, he gets into Mark Martin. Or yeah, he's all over Mark Martin. Jeff Burton is trying to keep from wrecking Martin. Wrecks himself, and that's a pretty hard lick on the inside right there. No safe barrier down there.
And that will move nobody back on the lead lap. We're inside 10 to go when the caution comes out.
He was just trying to get under Mark and got into Mark a little bit and tried to stay off of him, and in the process wrecked himself.
Next year, hard hit. Here's Reed Sorensen on pit road as the 1 to go sign comes out, along with Burton and Matt Kenseth.
Now we get a single file restart, Larry, and that'll help. I don't know if that'll help anybody or not.
But that means basically we're within that 10-lap window at the end of the race, so lead lap cars only to the front. You know, 100 laps ago, we had 3 Childress cars running in the top 7. I know Kevin Harvick is in 3rd, but, buddy, in the last 100 laps, we've had a good night go south for Richard Childress Racing.
Well, yeah, for the 31 car, Boyer's still 7.
Right,
so,
yes.
You know, I think where it's gone south is that pit strategy.
They will restart with 7 laps to go. Single file this time. Earnhardt, Hamlin, Harvick, Kyle Busch, and Stewart, the top 5.
Oh, boy, if Harvick anticipated that stop, and I think what he did was perfectly legal. Well, he actually didn't even complete the pass.
No, I think he decided.
But there goes Denny Hamlin to the inside of Junior coming off turn 2.
I think Harvick gave that back because I think he was afraid that it might get him for jumping the restart. But I tell you, Denny Hamlin's really good on the bottom, and he can get up alongside Junior. I don't know if he can pass him or not, but he can sure worry him to death.
6 to go.
And you know what? There's those 2 guys at the front right now. There's no 2 guys here want to win worse than they do.
Junior trying to return to victory lane for the first time in 47 races. Hamlin's never been there. He's in his rookie season trying to become the first rookie since Stewart to win here.
This is almost like Casey Kane and Tony Stewart, because Hamlin probably wouldn't have the ride if it wasn't for Dale Jr.
Hamlin can beat him through the middle of the corner. Junior in that second groove gets a good run off turn 2 like he did down the backstretch that time. 4 to go next time.
Got to have the whole racetrack to make the pass. That's the problem. When you get down under somebody, you just don't have enough room. I think now that they're sorted out a little bit, the tires are cleaned off. It's pretty hard for Hamlin to get to him now.
Here's a man on a move right here. Yep. Greg Biffle in the 16 car. He was one of those cars that pitted for fresh
just
tires.
Went around Tony Stewart.
5th place.
And guess where Jimmy Johnson is?
On the lead lap at 13th.
13th and coming.
With fresh tires. 3 to go.
And that the 31 car didn't do Junior any favors, but it didn't hurt him, and he's on his way. Hamlin's pretty much decided he's going to move up and see if he can chase Junior down, but
Biffle for 4th place up beside Kyle Busch in that 5 car, but he's going to run out of laps. 2 to go.
What a comeback for Greg Biffle.
You got that right. I mean, he is just driving around them left and right, and Junior just continues to open the gap.
He is stretching it out. He gets off the corner so good. White flag this time.
Come on, bring her home, Junebug. I believe you got yourself one there, buddy.
Clean racetrack. And the fans are waving as he completes his last lap halfway down the backstretch.
Went home early last week. Gonna stay up late tonight.
Dale Earnhardt Jr. for his 17th Nextel Cup victory wins the Crown Royal 400.
This bud's for you, baby.
And at the line. Jimmy Johnson broke into the top dozen, edging Elliott Sadler. He will remain the point leader. Tony Stewart will rise to second in the Nextel Cup standings. First win for Junior in the last 28 races. That was Chicago last July. He was 1 for 47 coming in here. Next year, the title of this race will be the name of a fan who wins the Crown Royal contest. It's the Your Name Here 400 for now. But tonight, this race belongs to Dale Earnhardt Jr.
All I know is last week at Talladega, when the 8 car fell out, I think fans left. I think more fans came tonight here at the end of this race.
Burning down the house.
Look at this. Larry, where'd he go?
He's down there.
Where'd he go? There he is. Melt him down. Scorch him hides.
Two big keys to victory for Junior tonight. One that we've talked about, the early pit stop.
He blew the right rear out, Larry.
And the other, he battled Kevin Harvick hard for the lead and then backed out to 4th place. If you guys go race a while, I'll see you later. We'll see him in victory lane next.
The Crown Royal 400 on FX is presented by Crown Royal.
And we welcome you to the Sprint post-race show from Richmond, Virginia, here on FX Reality TV in Victory Lane. For the first time this year, Dale Earnhardt Jr. in his 8 Budweiser car. Let's check in down there. Steve Burns is among the crowd in the smoke. Steve?
down here. Dale Earnhardt Jr., Tony Eury Jr. celebrating. What's it feel like to be back in victory lane, Dale?
Yeah, it feels great. Had a great car. I want to thank DEI, all the guys back home that don't get to celebrate with us, but get to watch at home. It was a great race car, great engine. All the guys this weekend, the guys have set up plate, get the car ready and everything. I mean, had a great handling car all weekend. The people at the shop is what made this weekend easy, because we were good when we got here, and just real easy to work on the car and get it right. So I think my team had some great pit stops. Tony Jr. made a great adjustment there at the end. He made a lot during the race. That last one was great. Had a lot of fun racing with the guys I raced with. I got into Kevin a little bit, but I backed off and just wanted him to know that I really didn't mean to do that. But we got our win. All right.
Dale, all year you've been talking about not only building race cars, but having positive attitudes and not letting distractions get you down or tough times or adversity. It's about a positive mental attitude. I keep hearing it.
Well, I had a great race team last year, a lot of great guys, and some of them came with us this year, and we took some of the ones from the old team, and what I got now is even 10 times better than that, you know. So when I come to the track, I mean, I know I got the best I can ask for. I got the people that got, I mean, these guys get their hearts in it, a lot of confidence. This is gonna really help. I mean, they need a win or something to prove their confidence, and it's pretty good. I mean, I'm really happy with my guys, really happy with my sponsors, Budweiser, everybody on board. We're having a great season. You know, we're really enjoying ourselves. It's a great group of guys I got, and I really enjoy racing.
Congratulations. Can I borrow your towel?
You really need it?
Thanks, man. Let's go to Matt Yoakum.
A year ago was a student beating the professor, Casey Kane and Tony Stewart, and you had what must have been a dream run with your online buddy. So did you used to always beat him online or him beat you?
I think he'd agree I beat him more often than not, but I'm so happy for that group, and so happy for this FedEx team. Best finish ever, and it's a great feeling to be here. The FedEx Chevy was really good. I had a lot of help from guys like Kevin Harvick and Kyle Busch. They didn't race me hard there at the end. They decided to let me go, and I got to thank them a lot for that, and hopefully I get to return the favor someday.
Now, Coach Gibbs has come over. J.D. Gibbs came over and congratulated you, but also ask you about the hand. How is the hand feeling?
It's staying a little bit right now. Got a little sweat in it, but I was definitely feeling no pain out there on the racetrack, and yeah, I was just so excited to be in that situation, and I thought I had him on that last restart. I went low and got side by side with him, but just couldn't get any forward drive off the bottom.
And Dick, I think this run here, finishing second, definitely pays a lot more than his wins online.
Well, Greg Biffle, after a pair of blown engines, a speeding penalty, I mean, you name it, and it has gone wrong for Greg Biffle. Tonight, finally, your first top 5 all year long. That after going a lap down. How happy are you?
Oh, man, I'm so excited. I mean, it's like I'm just going to celebrate a victory. I'll tell you what, it's like I won, even though I didn't get the trophy. Man, congratulations, Dale Jr. You know, I know what it's like being in victory lane. Congratulations to that team. They did a great job. But just excited for National Guard team. Our Ford Fusion ran extremely well tonight. You know, we got caught, trapped a lap down with that caution, but we fought back and ended up in the top 5.
We did try to find Kevin Harvick, but he left his car immediately. Even the crew didn't know where he had gone, Mike.
Thanks, Dick. He has to be disappointed, hoping for the weekend double here. Here's our Chevy winning moment. Chevy congratulates Dale Earnhardt Jr. and the number 8 Monte Carlo SS on another Team Chevy victory. 26 of the last 35 NASCAR Manufacturers Championships and counting. Chevy, an American revolution. We'll show you the Nextel Cup points. Tony Stewart moves up to second behind Jimmy Johnson. And there's going to be a lot of teams with some long meetings on Monday for beating themselves tonight.
Yeah, we saw that a lot tonight in the pits and on the prep of the cars. But Larry, nights like tonight when I really am glad I'm up here doing what I'm doing, because it's exciting to be a part of all this and fun to be up here. Did a great job tonight, buddy. You and Mike both. Everybody in the pits, Jeff and everybody. Good night.
It was fun. We talked about Greg Biffle, but Ryan Newman gets a good finish. And Sterling Marlin, celebrating his 30th anniversary Nextel Cup, finishes in the top 10 in night.
Yeah, first time in a long time for Sterling. A great night at Richmond. We're headed for Darlington. Happy birthday, Scott. We'll see you for cake and ice cream tomorrow.
See you, Darlington, Friday push at Nextel Cup Series qualifying on Speed. Push Series Racing presented by Yamaha on FX.